Okay, guys, we are live for like the third time today, third or fourth. Right now, we are just, right now I'm just getting a random screen. I have a random screen on. I have the click screen on. Because I got to throw on the thumbnail, and I started to prefer doing this on my PC nowadays. Like, on my actual PC. Why does it say I'm still live? I'm not running two lives at once. Oh, yeah, this is apparently saying it's still live. I don't want to delete it. It's just I'm not live. Things will probably get fixed at some point. Can I manually end stream? Let's go to the details for this one. Can I just click end stream? I'm just gonna make it unlisted. No, private. I'm gonna make it private. Done. Save. I made it private. No one should be able to see it now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Sorry now, darling, drive me crazy. We're having a Hoot and a Holler. Also, we're probably going to be watching Goblin. Well, listening to Goblin. If that doesn't get us banned. I don't think so. I do not think it will. Sky-based memes are not happening right now. I'm going to go real quickly.
Trying to get really drunk and just have a good time. So the first night, we didn't really...
Wait, alt tab.
Well, I guess compared to the rest of the weekend, we didn't really go too hard. I got pretty fucked up, I'll admit. I was maybe like 8 beers deep, and I don't really remember a ton of what I did. All I remember is I got in the hot tub, drank a bunch of beers,
there we go,
and smoked a few blunts. And, as I was already pretty drunk, I got out of the hot tub, dried myself off, and it was maybe like 8 p.m. at this point, 8:30, before everybody had even gotten there, as most of the people were getting there, I'd already kind of gotten the ball rolling and gotten myself started. So, I'm smoking a little bit, I'm drinking a little bit, and... the interesting thing is, I completely forgot to mention this part. This happened before I started smoking. Our second Uber driver, we'd taken our first Uber driver to get back to the house.
Do not judge.
And then maybe an hour later, after I drank a little bit, we called a second Uber to take us to a guy who I met on Snapchat who was going to sell us some weed. And that guy was actually a subscriber, by the way. So whoever that is, you know who you are. If you want to identify yourself in the comments, you can. If you don't, that's fine. But shout out to you, my dude. Thanks for coming through and being a plug and hooking it up. Because I don't really know anyone out in Boston, so shout out to that guy. But either way, we had an Uber driver pick us up to drive me to meet with this guy who I was going to pick up some butt off of, who was a subscriber. And, as I'm talking to him, he could clearly tell that we were fucked up, this Uber driver. And he asked, he's like, so do you guys smoke? And I was like, weed? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, we smoke. And he was like, oh, shit, where are you guys from? Do you have any weed? And I was like, no, we're actually going to pick up some weed. And we started talking about, medical and a lot of things like that. And in that area, I actually wasn't aware this was a thing, but apparently recreational recently got legalized out in Boston. I know medical's already legal, but apparently rec recently got legalized. So, there's not any shops, rec shops in the area that I was in, because I was maybe 30 minutes out of the city. But there was, a medical shop, and this Uber driver, he just so happened to have a medical card. Now, what for, I'm not sure, and his limit that he could buy wasn't anything crazy, but we were like, yeah, listen, dude, if you can get us some medical, we'll pay you for the ounce, we'll give you the money to go buy the ounce, and then tip you a little extra. And he was like, yeah, cool, that's fine, whatever. So we had him pulled to this dispensary that was maybe 20 minutes.
We haven't been blocked yet on
YouTube.
We
were originally going.
I'm fine with
we
this.
Canceled the Uber ride at this point, and we goes inside. He's showing us like the website. And he's like, yeah, look at these different strains here. They got a couple. So we're looking. We ended up picking, I think it was Super Lemon Haze.
I love lemon
It was like
haze. I'm telling you,
28%
lemon haze is the
THC. It was super duper fucking gas. And he goes in and gets this shit, comes back out, and it's taxed. Let me tell you, we paid like $300 on the ounce, I'm pretty sure. But it was really worth it because when he came out with this weed, he didn't even open the bag or unseal anything, and it just stunk. It smelled like a pea, and it was only an ounce. And this shit was, oh, holy fuck. When I tell you guys that I really honestly haven't smoked weed this good very much at all. Like maybe 3 other times in my life I could recall smoking weed as good as this. Like this shit was critical. This was some fucking chronic. Like,
Be advised, hostile.
oh my god. You know, that's all I can say. Oh my fucking god. My dick was so hard. And we ended up getting this ounce off this Uber driver. And he asked, he's like, so are we still going to that, plug that you guys were talking about? I'm like, no, dude, we already got some weed. Come back, drop us off. And so as we get to the house, I decide to ask him, yeah, do you want to come smoke a blunt with us? And he's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So the Uber driver's coming in. I open my Snapchat, and I'm talking to the guy who was a subscriber of mine who was originally going to sell me something. He was going to sell me an ounce for like half a price that I got it from the dispensary, but that's but either way, or not quote unquote, but either way, I ended up hitting him up and I was like, yo, we're actually not on the way, like, would you be able to help me? And he's like, yeah, I could deliver. So I'm like, alright, yeah, just pull up and, let me know when you're here. So we get back to the house with the Uber driver. We show for maybe an hour, we roll up with 1 or 2, and I end up getting drunker. I'm hopping in the hot tub. I got a couple blunts rolled up. The Uber driver didn't get in the tub, but he just kind of hung out in the vicinity and smoked a couple blunts with us. He didn't drink at all. But, Chad was also there, and he also hopped in the hot tub, smoked some blunts with me. And I got good and fucked up. And finally, someone else got to the door. It was maybe like 9 o'clock. And, I'm not like... At this point, I wasn't sure, like, oh, is someone else coming or what? I'd completely forgotten that I told, my subscriber, like, hey, yeah, come through, sell me some weed. And, someone goes and opens the door, this dude walks in, and, I end up going to the door, and I'm like, oh, what's good? Because I didn't know who it was. I thought it was, like, someone staying there. And he's like, oh, yeah, like, are you gobbling? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, what's up? And then I kind of, caught on, like, oh, yeah, this is the subscriber. And I forgot about that. And, the funny thing is, originally, I only planned on getting 2 ounces for this trip, right? Chad was going to get an ounce, and I was going to get an ounce. And just got 1 ounce off. Another ounce off of my subscriber who was just coming through, and that was going to be it. And, the next day, we had another buddy come through with 2 more ounces, and then we had a QP to smoke for 4 days. Either way, I'll get to that later. I just thought that was funny. So, the subscriber of mine who we're going to call Billy, he pulls up, and, he's got an ounce on him. He's charging like 160. I throw it to him. It's all good. We're all having a good time. We're smoking in the Uber driver's car. We've gotten out of the hot tub at this point because, I don't know, too many dudes in the hot tub. That's a no-go, so we had to evacuate, clear the scene quickly. So, we're smoking in the Uber driver's car. We're smoking in the house. We're chilling. We're all having a good time.
This game without aim assist is terrible.
Smoking a couple blunts, and the subscriber had come over as well as the Uber driver was still just kind of chilling out and walking around talking to people and smoking. I'd gotten fucking piss wasted. Like, I'm talking, it was maybe like 10:30 p.m. at this point, and I had like just no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, I'm talking, there was some girls over, I think, maybe it was that night, but I was like too drunk to say hello. So like I couldn't really hit on any bitches. So what I ended up doing was I went downstairs into the movie theater that had these super comfy recliners and just kind of fell asleep for the night. And I knocked out. I woke up maybe 3 hours later, ran to the bathroom, vomited. It was bad. I threw up hard. I was really fucking drunk, and I was hungover the next day too, but I cured it with more alcohol. But either way, I hit the bathroom, I threw up, I was sauced the fuck up, but, after throwing up, I felt a little better, and I just kind of washed my mouth out and went to bed again, and the next morning rolled around, and, Hoots and Hollers were continued the next day. So either way, I'm going to wrap it up there because this is getting long. Hope you guys did enjoy the kind of first day summary. And drop a like if you did. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with part 2 of the Mansion Madness series. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, I do want to mention real quick, we're going to be dropping another substance review tomorrow. So for those of you guys out there who would like to have a certain substance reviewed, let me know in the comment section below. Any requests or anything like that. Also, hit me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that bullshit. It's all linked in the description. You already know what the fuck's going on. So let's just dive right into it. Now, I'm going to kind of go about this series as like a day-by-day thing, I guess you could say.
I'll rock the worst shotgun in the game.
You know, I'm trying to think of a way to put it. You know, a day-by-day thing, but it's like a very, very like specific breakdown of the highlights of my day. So, you know, where I left off in the last part of the series, it was Friday morning, and, you know, Thursday night had gone by, my first night after landing, and now it's Friday morning, right? And I ended up passing out in the movie theater, just sitting in the recliner, and I wake up, and what really threw me off was I woke up to the Uber driver beside me, the Uber driver who ended up, buying us some of that medical bud. He ended up being right beside me, and I was like, okay, well, wait, what the fuck is going on here, you know, like, why is he still here? I thought he was, like, I don't know, I had no indication that he was coming back. Like, he left at, like, 3 a.m., right, and I'd passed out maybe, like, 30 minutes after he left, and then all of a sudden I wake up in the morning, and he's there, and it's just like, wait, like, who, like, how'd he get here? Like, who, I don't even think anyone was awake when he got here. Like, we were all knocked out, and I ended up talking to my boy Chad about it, and he was like, yeah, dude, he was, like, standing next to me, and I was, like, asleep, too. I saw him, and I was, like, half asleep, too, and, I don't know how he got there, but he was there. So I was just like, alright, well, fuck it, whatever. I mean, I, like, genuinely, to this day, have no idea how the fuck he got in the house. But, either way, you know, so, anyways, I mean, I said to this day as if it was very long ago, but either way, whatever. So, you know, I wake up, he's trying to wake me up. The first thing he says is he asks if I want to smoke. So, of course, I'm like, yes, absolutely, 110%. What kind of question is that? Wake and bake? That's a thumbs up from me. So, you know, what we ended up doing was, I got out of my movie chair, he was already rolling up a blunt, you know, he had the weed, he had the wraps and all that, or I don't think he had them, but I just kind of left them laying out, so we just kind of made it happen. So, you know, we ended up going and smoking a blunt, and, you know, I was feeling pretty shitty, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say I was hungover quite yet, because the true hangover didn't come until Monday, but I would say that I was definitely not up to par. You know, I was definitely subpar, if I do say so myself. So I was not really feeling too clean that day. And, you know, waking up feeling groggy as fuck and then smoking a blunt is all fine and dandy, but I find that there's one of two ways it can go. Either the blunt, like, cures my problems, or the blunt just makes me even worse and more, like, groggy and tired and shit. And I found that this blunt made me more groggy and tired, so of course I had to find a solution and fast, because at this point it was like 10 a.m., the drinking was about to begin at any moment, because we were a bunch of alcoholic dickheads, right? So, you know, I'm trying to figure, okay, how am I gonna cure my ailments here so I can drink enough alcohol to compete, you know, like, fuck, I gotta figure out how to do this. And my solution ended up being just smoke another blunt. And let me tell you, it worked. It did in fact work. That was the solution I was looking for. So, you know, we rolled up another blunt, maybe like an hour, 30 minutes after we finished that first one, smoked it again, then I hopped in the shower, brushed my teeth, got ready, and all that shit. I don't really know what I was getting ready for, because we had no fucking plans. Our only plan was just like, yeah, we just, like, maybe look into getting a hooker, and, like, smoke and drink. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's a great plan. I like that. So, you know, either way, the day's going on. We're kicking it. You know, we kind of started drinking early, but we're not really going hard or getting, like, fucked up, because now that it's Friday night, you know, the majority of the guys in the house were actually attending the event of PAX East, so they weren't going to be around. So it was like me and, like, 3 or 4 other dudes in the house during the day, but they, you know, their kind of, like, assignment, I guess you could say, was to find something to bring back to the house and throw a banger, you know, or, I mean, yeah, I guess it kind of was a banger on Saturday night, but either way, that was kind of their, like, objective, I guess you could say. So, you know, while they're out there, like, scavenging for people to attend the banger, you know, we're sitting here at the house just doing fuck all, you know, dick in our hands, doing nothing, right? So we're just kind of casually drinking some Heineken, not really chugging or anything like that. You know, I drank maybe like 3 or 4 beers over the span of like 2 hours, so like I really wasn't that, you know, I wasn't really fucked up at all. But, I mean, nevertheless, it was a very laid-back day, up until maybe I want to say like 3 or 4 p.m., because I remember it was in the afternoon. I want to say more like 4 p.m. if I remember correctly, but I might not. And here's the thing, I may get some details of this story like inaccurate. Reason being, I was really fucked up the whole time, so like it's kind of hard for me, but I'm trying my best here. But either way, so I believe it was like 3 or 4 p.m. on Friday, and most of the dudes who went to the event got back. They come back, they're asking us what's going on. At this point, we were still just sitting in the basement, just like, smoking blunts and drinking and just like doing nothing productive whatsoever and not contributing to society in any way at all. And, eventually they got back, they're like, oh yeah, we got some people coming over tonight, it's going to be a good time, it's going to be a banger. So me and Chad are like, all right, that's a bet. We got Uber driver, he's like, that's a bet. We're all prepared, we're ready to go, right? We're fucking prepared, okay? We are...
Free Fire Holler?
I don't think I've ever been so ready in my entire life. Like when I heard the sound waves being produced through my mind when someone was telling me, yeah, we're gonna have a mansion party, I was like, yeah, I fuck with that. That's great. That's a thumbs up. So, I'm getting excited. I'm getting really amped up at this point. I gotta smoke a celebration blunt. So of course, off we go. Roll up a celebration blunt. Me, Uber driver, Chad, whoever the fuck else wanted to hit it. We weren't really excluding anyone because we had way too much to smoke ourselves. So we were just sitting there just smoking, celebrating, having a good time. Any reason or excuse we could find to smoke a blunt, we'd take it. I remember I threw up. Over the weekend I threw up, and that was like my reason to go face a blunt. I was like, damn, dude, I gotta go face a blunt, man. I just puked. Fuck. like any reason, dude, we'd take that shit. We'd seize the opportunity. But either way, so night goes on. Finally, people start coming over, and pretty much every single person who came, I'd never seen in my life, and they were like fellow content creators of various different genres and personalities that were like, I don't know, I'm not really gonna go too into detail in, respect of their, online presence, not gonna expose nobody here, but, there was just a lot of people who I didn't really know, but kind of did the same thing as me, so, as they were all flooding in, I was trying to decide what to do, and maybe 20 minutes after people started showing up, Chad was like, yo, let's go cheap one in the hot tub, and I was like, yeah, that's phenomenal. So we go hop in the hot tub, we already had a wood rolled up, we're sipping on it, we're not like all the way, or not sipping on it, we're smoking on it, excuse me, and we're not like all the way in the hot tub, we're like kind of sitting on the ledge, but like our like feet are in there, because it's hot as fuck. Like this shit, like I can't even describe how hot this thing got. Like thankfully the temperature control was on point, kinda, even though it took ages to heat up, but like this bitch got real heated real quick, so either way, we're chilling there, got our feet in the warm water, we're chiefing on a fat-ass wood, we each got, a couple drinks with us, and at some point in the night, one way or another, I don't know who or when, who went and did this or when this occurred, someone went and bought a fuck ton of Jaeger, and I mean a fuck ton, and I very quickly learned that the people that I was staying with this weekend were all chronic alcoholics, but only for Jaeger, like, literally only for Jaeger, like, we had a handle of Smirnoff and a handle of Jack, right, and we were out of Jaeger, and the handle of Smirnoff and the handle of Jack were completely intact, except for me and, like, 2 or 3 other people who tapped on those bottles, and the vast majority of the other heads literally just waited for the Jaeger. And then just drank it like chronic alcoholics, just got way too fucking drunk. Like, they're not alcoholics because they can, like, restrain themselves from, like, Jack and Smirnoff, but when the Jaeger's in the function, it's no holds barred. It's like a WWE match where the ref's already KO'd. It's just fucked. It's just hell in a cell, dude. It's completely out of hand, ape shit bananas. But either way, someone went along and picked up a fuck ton of Jaegers because someone comes back with like, I don't know, I think it was like 4 or 5 half gallons of Jaeger and just lays them out on the bar downstairs and starts pouring up Jaeger bombs. And I've only had a Jaeger bomb a few times before this weekend, but I do have to say they've really grown on me after this weekend. I've never met a group of people who is so like passionate about a very specific kind of drink in my whole life. Like, nobody did like straight shots. Nobody did anything else. Literally the only thing we did all weekend was like Jaeger bombs out of solo cups. That was my water for the weekend. I'm not joking when I say that I drank disproportionately less of every other liquid than Jaeger. It's kind of sad. Except for Red Bull. That was a good combo because you got to have the Red Bull for that. But And by the way, why the fuck is Red Bull so expensive? Tell Red Bull stop taxing. If any of y'all Red Bull execs are listening to this, suck my cock, dickhead. But either way, so
Red Bull's expensive and it's not good.
We got the Red Bull in the function. We're pouring up Jaeger. Everyone's getting fucked up, and there's a lot of people over. But
dickhead,
you know, at first glance, a half-gallon of Jaeger doesn't look like it's gonna last very long. But when you start pouring it up, you quickly realize, wow, this could last me like a couple generations of my family. Like this one half-gallon of Jaeger here could last me and my kids in their lives through their lifetimes. You know, like comfortably too, not like struggling or like holding back, very comfortable. You know, alcoholically secure, I guess you could say. But either way, you know, so these bottles were just beautiful, you know, and that's one thing I got to give props to Jaeger for. Very efficient alcohol, very efficient liquid there. You don't got to drink much to get sauce out of your fucking balls. So, of course, that's what's happened to me. I keep drinking more, and I'm sauced out of my fucking balls by like 2 a.m. And the party's going on. Nothing really crazy is happening. It's not necessarily like a banger party as you'd picture. It's more of just like a bunch of like drunk YouTubers like hanging out. You know, that's like more so what it was. Just a very large grouping of drunk YouTubers and streamers. And towards the end of the night, as people started filtering out, there was a guy who we're going to call Brad. I believe I mentioned him in the last video. I may have. Actually, no. Never mind. You know what? We got a different name for this guy. Because I think I used Brad already. I don't remember. I'm bad at making videos. Just fuck off and ignore this part. But we're going to call this guy Tony, right? So Tony is... I can't go into too much detail about Tony. I wish I could because it makes it funnier, but I can't. But Tony is a guy who is a funky, interesting guy. Let me just say, he's a character, alright? Out of the people there, he had the closest to my alcohol tolerance. This guy was definitely more alcoholically tolerant than me. He was definitely a juggernaut. I could tell he was experienced in the game. He'd had a lot of experience drinking. And he had a bad habit. That's, I don't really know how to word it. This is kind of, I'm trying to tread lightly here. You know, I'm trying to tread lightly here. But all I can say is, you know, he fell asleep in the living room on the couch at like 4 a.m. No problem, right? Face down on the couch. Looked fucked up. No problem. Well, about 6:30 or 7 a.m. the next morning, and it's Saturday morning at this point, rolls around, and there's a problem in Houston. He's rolled off the couch. He's on the floor at this point, or at least I think he rolled off the couch. I don't know how he got from couch to floor without anybody noticing, but it happened. And on the couch, on the middle cushion, there was a large mark, a large stain, and it was moist. And all I'm gonna say after that is we had someone who was brave enough and kind enough to take that particular cushion and throw it into the corner of the room for the rest of the weekend. Literally nobody touched it. Like, dad cleaning ladies come over every single day at 1 p.m. to clean this house, right? And the cleaning ladies wouldn't touch it either because we wouldn't tell them what it was. Like, we never said anything about it. But they knew, like, oh, something's got to be fucked here. And I'd imagine if they got close enough to it, it might have smelled. But I never got close enough to it. I was not coming near that. But yeah, needless to say, there was a little spillage on the middle cushion. So, you know, of course, we're all laughing our asses off. At the same time, we're like, oh, like, how do we deal with this? Because it's like 6 a.m. I'm really tired, really drunk, and really high, and I have no idea why I'm still awake. I feel like I'm just still awake because I'm too geeked to make a rational decision, you know? So, either way, you know, at this point, we're just trying to figure out what to do, and we got it taken care of eventually. And after I'd seen that, I was like, all right, I think I'm wrapping up the night here, you know? I feel like that's probably enough. And I went to bed, you know, I fell asleep in the same movie chairs the night before, the same movie chair, excuse me, and this ended up becoming my bed for the trip. But, you know, I was surprised I didn't vomit. You know, I was surprised I didn't throw up that night because first night I puked and I was way less drunk. Like, this night, you know, it may seem like, at least it seems like to me, I may have given fewer details than most of my other stories on this particular video. Reason being, I was really fucked up on this day. So, like, I don't have the greatest details on this. Either way, we're going to end it here. We'll continue with what happens when I wake back up on Saturday in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Hostile care package inbound.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with part 3 of the Mansion Party Weekend, whatever the fuck you want to call it, series. So, hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, I want to apologize for not uploading the past couple days. Yeah, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you know why. If you don't, then why the fuck do you not follow me on Instagram? What are you doing, dude? You're kind of tweaking.
Time to earn your worth.
Either way, that's your decision. So, let's dive right the fuck into it. So, where we left off last time, alright? We left off on Friday night, right? We got through Friday, or Saturday morning, I guess, is where we left off. So, Saturday morning rolls around, and this day is where things really hit the
I gotta
fan.
answer some snaps.
You know, I feel like Friday was like, oh, okay, this is pretty lit. This is kind of a fun day. And then Saturday was like, alright, let's take everything we did Friday, but like cocaine it, you know, basically just amp it the fuck up, you know, just like fuck it up, you know. So on this particular day, I wake up and Chad is just asleep. All right, Chad is just asleep. He's knocked the fuck out. I'm talking like he didn't wake up all of Saturday, so he's not even a part of this story. And in this particular episode of this series, I'm not going to be using many names in this video because most of the named characters were like hungover asleep all day. I was the only one who managed to make it out of the trenches at this point, you know? So, either way, you know, on this particular day, I wake up, Uber driver's there again. Now, once again, as I mentioned in the last part of this series, no one really knew when he got there or how he got there every single morning, but he was there all right. Like, he didn't spend the night, but, like, he'd be there before anybody woke up. So, like, I don't know what his schedule was, what his time frame of sleep was, but it wasn't much. But either way, so, you know, this particular morning, I wake up, Uber driver's there, it's like maybe 11, and I'm feeling like shit. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I was feeling very, very cooked. I kind of felt like, I don't really know how to put it. You know when, like, you get really, really high, and you get the munchies, right? And then you eat, and then you sober up, and you're like, oh, I ate too much when I was really baked. So then you feel really full. Combine that with, like, having a cold. That's, like, kind of what I felt like. Like, I just felt like dog shit at this point. So I was like, alright, there's only one thing that can cure me at this point. Well, two things, actually. It's either going to be weed or a prostitute. And I can't get a hooker at 11 a.m., so I'm going to need weed. And, of course, we had plenty. So, you know, on this particular day, we decided, I don't know why I keep saying that, but, you know, we decided we were going to get right to it. You know, I start rolling up a blunt almost as soon as I wake up. I got Uber driver also rolling a blunt. We got Chad passed the fuck out, so he's completely out of the question. And, you know, we still had a lot of weed to get through, and we only had this day and the next day to get through it all because we flew out pretty early Monday morning, and we still had probably a good, like, I want to say maybe like 2.5 ounces left. So we were gonna have some real smoking to do in the coming week. So, you know, we're just sitting there chiefing blunts. Me and Uber driver, eventually we finish rolling up. We go out back, we start smoking. It's a hoot and a holler. It's a good time. And, you know, most of the other people in the house are at the event. They're at PAX East, so there weren't a ton of people home at this particular point. You know, Saturday was like the big day for PAX, which translated into it was the big night for partying. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But during the daytime, there's only maybe 3 or 4 of us at the house in total. So, or 4 or 5, I guess. But somewhere in that ballpark. I don't fucking know. Suck me. But either way, so, you know, we're sitting there all day, and everyone's just kind of smoking weed and, like, casual day drinking as if it's not a problem. And, you know, I'm totally okay with that. So I was partaking, you know, I was smoking, I was day drinking, you know, it was just a hoot and a holler, but it wasn't really going hard. It was just like a smooth buzz, just enough to get me buzzed throughout the day, you know, a couple beers, you know, set it down, take a break, couple more beers, set it down, yada yada. You know what the fuck I mean. So, either way, as the day progresses, you know, I'm kind of maintaining my buzz, maintaining, you know, my baked levels, I guess you could say. And I was told prior that this night was going to be a banger, but I wasn't really expecting the, like, level of banger that occurred. So, basically how this kind of started, right? This like party on Saturday night, because I wasn't really expecting this. You know, basically everyone who was staying with us came home from the event, and then they just like had people with them. You know, like more people were gradually coming, you know, around that night, doing whatever the fuck they were doing to get here. But, you know, the original, like, maybe 6 people from the house, 5 or 6 people from the house who had gone to the event had brought back another, like, 10 or 15 people. And there was probably another, like, 30 or 40 more who showed up in total. Like, I don't really know the exact numbers because I was really fucked up. But there was a lot of fucking people, right? And it was just all, for the most part, like, YouTubers and motherfuckers who I'd like maybe seen on Twitter and shit. Just like people who I'd like kind of been familiar with, but like I didn't know personally. It's just like, oh, I kind of know who that guy is. Like, it was kind of cool. But either way, so, you know, they start bringing people back. I'm just kind of chilling out, still figuring out what the fuck I'm even going to do with myself, because I'm already feeling good enough. Like, I'm pretty content with how fucked up I am, but it's like 5 p.m., and I know that the night has not even begun yet. I'm about to unleash the Kraken tonight. I told myself that if I am not fucking a hooker this particular night, or, you know, I mean, a regular girl would do, but a hooker would be preferable, because then you, like, you know, it's just easier. So, you know, either way, I was busting a nut this night, alright? So, that was my game plan, at least. Didn't happen. But, either way, so, you know, people start funneling in. You know, it starts getting later and later. Drinks start coming out. You know, I'm smoking. I'm still chiefing with the Uber driver and a couple other people. And, you know, to my surprise, not many people there really smoked. Like, there was a couple guys who I met who were, you know, I'd never met before. And, you know, they took a couple hits of the blunt, but no one was really chiefing like that. So I was like, what the fuck? And it made me realize that YouTubers are a bunch of alcoholics. So if you guys are ever curious about the personal lives of your favorite YouTuber is, there's like an 80% chance that they're probably an alcoholic, because, wow, YouTubers drink a lot of fucking liquor, dude. Holy shit. But either way, so, you know, as the night's progressing, I'm smoking weed with the Uber driver. Chad is still passed out. Like, I'm not kidding. This guy literally did not get out of bed all day long. And, you know, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what the fuck to do with myself, because I'm like, okay, I could go take shots, or I could go take Jaeger bombs, excuse me, fuck shots. I could smoke more blunts. I could get in the hot tub and smoke more blunts. Or I could get in the hot tub and take Jaeger bombs. Or, you know, I could find a mystery option and just do that. So what I ended up doing was, maybe around like 8 or 8:30, after I probably chain smoked a good 3 or 4 blunts with the Uber driver and a couple other dudes who were in the vicinity, I went downstairs and we started taking some Jaeger bombs. Now, throughout this entire evening, I'd still maintain my buzz. You know, I wasn't hammered, but I drank just enough where I wouldn't be sobered up, you know? So after the Jaeger bomb, shit really just hit the fan. And, you know, there was a critical issue on this particular night, where as we were all taking Jaeger bombs and rounds, and there was a lot of people down there in the basement because they had the dance floor attached to the bar, so there was a good like 20 people standing at the bar alone, and it wasn't like big enough to handle 20 people, but 20 motherfuckers still stood there anyways. And, you know, as the night progressed and people were down in their Jaeger bombs, motherfuckers weren't finishing them. Okay? I'm looking at these cups. There was like 4 cups with like half a Jaeger bomb in them. It's like, don't ask for a drink if you're not gonna kill it. That's fucked up. You can't do that shit. That's a waste of liquid. You know how many African kids would love to get sauced off their fucking dicks on Jaeger, but they can't because you're pouring it and wasting it? A lot of them. I guarantee you a lot of them. Some African warlords would love to get half on Jaeger, but you fucked it up. But either way, not the point. So, you know, back on topic here. I'm starting to notice that motherfuckers aren't finishing their Jaeger bombs. And I'm just down in these back to back. You know, it got to the point where the first couple were like, oh, that's kind of strong. But it got to the point where, you know when you get really drunk, right? And alcohol starts to not really have that kick to it anymore. It just goes down real smooth. And then someone asks you to start pouring the drinks, and because it's going down so smooth for you, you imagine that everybody else feels it the same way, so you just pour these fucking strong-ass Hulk drinks. That's what I was doing. Eventually, my responsibility came along where I had to start pouring the Jaeger bombs. And I was whipping up these fucking concoctions, dude. This was some Skyrim-ass shit in these fucking solo cups, dude. I'm talking like, maybe like 1/8 Red Bull and 7/8 Jaeger. Red Bull was not a concept to me at this point. If it didn't have an alcoholic content, it wasn't drinkable in my book at this point in time. And, I stayed down in the basement for the majority of the night until maybe 1 or 2 a.m. I spent a good 3 or 4 hours just getting drunker and drunker, just hanging out, meeting new people, talking to people. Nothing super crazy went down. It was just a really kind of casual, hey, we're in a
It didn't shoot!
Mansion. Let's get really fucked up and talk. That's kind of what it was. So, I'm getting really fucked up and I'm doing the talking, I'll tell you that. And, eventually I go back upstairs later in the night because Uber driver comes and gets me. I believe it was him. And he's like, yo, you want to smoke a blunt? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yes,
absolutely. One. So we go back upstairs, and we like
this
to sit
girl
by the hot
like a
tub.
day
Pretty
ago
much
was
the
like,
smoking
hey,
area
let's go on a date.
where we wanted to hit the blunts was in the hot
Now
tub
it's like,
room,
hey,
because
I'm not gonna
day
answer
one,
you for
I started
12
smoking my
hours.
weed in there, and since I was one of the only real consistent
So women
smokers
make
in the
no
house, it
girls.
became like
Hey,
the
if you
spot.
have a vagina, you
want
make
the
more
blunt,
sense.
the party's going on, pool room, they got the blunts up there. So, I'm sitting down. They got this fireplace in the corner of the pool room too, and it's super nice. We're sitting by the fireplace, windows open, they air it out from the
You can hit through
the hot
wall.
tub going.
One
'cause
thing
we
I
had
don't
it
like Call of
warmed up
Duty.
all night.
That
And,
it's too
there's a
realistic.
couple young ladies in the hot tub who I'm not gonna name. And, there was one gentleman in the hot tub and 3 ladies in there. But I'm not gonna. That's gonna give it away, so I'm not gonna say anything here. Don't forget I said that part. That's gonna give it away. But it was bad. But either way, forget that part. So, anyways, we're sitting there. There's a couple people sitting in the hot tub. They're kind of conversating, but really loudly, so we can hear them. The Uber driver and I, as we're smoking. But it's one of those conversations where it's an open conversation, but you don't know if you should step in. You could tell yeah, we could probably just start talking and chill, but at the same time, no, I don't really want to do that. So it was kind of awkward because I don't know, we just kept the 2 different groups just kept looking over at each other, and then whenever we made eye contact, either me and someone over there, the Uber driver and someone over there, they just look away, but we never said anything to each other. It was the most uncomfortable shit ever. So either way, I'm getting drunker, or I'm getting higher and higher at this point. I was already as drunk as can fucking be, and by the time we finished smoking a couple of blunts, we had I think we grabbed a pack of Russian cream backwoods. We were lucky enough to find them in a smoke shop up there. And we also had, what were they? They were those little cardboard boxes of Swishers you can buy that are individually wrapped. He had a bunch of those. So for some reason, the gas station didn't sell normal 2 packs of Swishers or any kind of blunts. So he had to settle. But either way, we're smoking a couple. We're getting real nice and shit. And by the time we're done smoking, it's maybe 1:30 or 2 a.m. So I figure, okay, what the fuck? What do I do at this point? I'm really fucked up, and I didn't even get to fuck a whore tonight, So I'm talking to the Uber driver. I'm like, Uber driver, listen, bro, you know any good clubs around here? Where can I find a hooker? Because I'm being for real right now. I'm not saying this for comedy. I genuinely would have spent money on a hooker at this point. Because listen, I'm 19 years old with a quarter pound of weed, infinite alcohol, and a mansion with a hot tub. Why would I not want to dog the fuck out of a prostitute at that point? What do I have to lose, dude? Nothing. That's fuck yeah, dude. That's in my best interest at that point in time. So Uber driver's like, oh yeah, I actually know a guy who mentioned something to me about something like that a couple weeks ago. Let me hit him up. So I was like, all right, well, if this Uber driver finds me a hooker, this is going to be the best thing of all time. And unfortunately, I was not able to obtain a prostitute. What the fuck? Okay, I had to pause it because my dog was fucking barking, god damn it. But either way, so, at this particular point, I'm thinking if this Uber driver can get me a hooker, that's fucking amazing. And sadly, he didn't come through. But my hopes were still up, In the back of my mind, the only thing that I can think of is just...
On your feet! Wow. Move it!
That's great. But, as the night progressed and I was waiting and waiting, I figured, this probably isn't going to happen at this point. It got to 3 a.m., people started leaving. I was really fucked up. I went downstairs and I partook in the final couple rounds of Jaeger bombs before people started going back to their hotels and shit. And I was just kind of trying to meet a bunch of people before they left just for the fuck of it. And I did, it was pretty cool. A lot of cool ladies there, a lot of cool ladies there, a lot of cool people, but a lot of drunk people as well. But either either way, you know, I partook in the last couple rounds of Jaeger bombs. You know, I stayed true to my calling. And, you know, as people left, you know, I was kind of cleaning up downstairs. And let me fucking tell you, I mentioned earlier that people don't finish the Jaeger bombs, and I'm not kidding, okay? It's fucked up, man, okay? There was, you know, as I was cleaning up, the entire bar, there was like not one spot on the counter that wasn't covered in either a solo cup or a bottle of Jaeger. And out of all the solo cups on that bar, I'd say maybe a quarter of them had at least like a third of the Jaeger bomb left in it. So that's fucked up, and that means a quarter of the people there are inconsiderate bastards. So that's a terrible work on you if you're one of those people, so change that shit. But either way, you know, after I finished kind of like half-assed fucking cleaning, which wasn't really cleaning at all, I think that's more than I cleaned. You know, I ended up laying down in the movie theater in my classic little recliner seat that I'd kind of reserved for myself and knocking the fuck out. I'm talking, I slung. I don't know where Uber driver went after this. I don't know if he went home or what. Never found out. Still to this day I'm out. But let me tell you right fucking now, I got the best sleep of my life. I slept like a baby. I don't know what it was, but oh my god, I must have struck the perfect balance of fucking sauce and a weed in my system to just knock me unconscious perfectly. Like, this sleep was memorable. Very vividly memorable. That's how good it was. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a late night upload. Early morning upload. Boys, grab your popcorn, gather around. Double upload today. I decided to put one up late for all you British people, all you EU viewers, all you people who for some reason are still up this late on a school night. I'm up late too. You know, I'm ready to go, boys. It's party time. Let's celebrate. So either way, a couple things I do want to mention before I get into this video. First off, drop a like if you do enjoy. Second off, like I mentioned earlier, double upload today. It might be 2 acid stories. I'm not sure. If you guys want a second acid story, I could do that. And third thing is, well, I'm starting a new little trend on the channel, a new special day. It's going to be called Respect Women Wednesdays. Now on Wednesdays, we're all going to respect women, okay? And it's going to go
only
beyond
on Wednesdays.
What I'm going to do is in the description, I'm going to have a Google form linked where you can apply if you are a female or you have a female you'd like to enter. If you asked them before, of course, you know, you can enter them into the Respect Women Wednesday form. And what I do is every Wednesday, I'll take a respectful young woman and I will shout her out in a video and put a photo of her on the screen, and we will all respect her in the comments and say respectful things about her, and no sexual harassment or no hateful things whatsoever. It will just be pure respect in these comments, okay? So if any of you ladies or you guys who know ladies who want to enter, go ahead and do that in the description. That's starting this Wednesday. So our first woman who will be respected will be occurring this Wednesday, and I will make respectful remarks about them, as well as, you know, everybody else better be doing the same. It's a new Hoot, new Holler, boys. This is a new Hoot alert, you know, fucking joke. But either way, let's dive into it. So,
yeah,
tripping at a water park. Now, this happened a while ago.
Nope.
I mean, for those of you guys, most of you guys probably know, I haven't really tripped in a long time.
There's
you know,
none anywhere. I've been using the same one since I got back.
And, you know, this happened last summer. You know, not last summer, like summer 2017. Summer 2016. I've got no clean. So over a year ago at this point. And
I got dirty.
At this point in time, you know, I didn't really do much. You know, I just kind of sat around the house, smoked blunts and tripped balls here and there, and did the other occasional drugs. Sometimes some K, sometimes I drank, sometimes I popped bars, whatever. I was a fucking idiot.
I'm in the middle of a game.
On this particular day, you know, I'm chilling, and I also had the Mazda at this point, so it was nice. It was like,
okay, let me finish this.
July, you know, it was pretty hot outside.
Yes!
And I was just kicking it.
Not losing a match for a dumb reason.
Mikey. Now, Mikey was an interesting guy.
I'll try to find one if I have one.
He lived with his mom. Sometimes he lived with his dad. He had a divorced parent situation, except, like, it was complicated because he would just keep getting kicked out back and forth. And you know, whenever he was at his mom's house, we would always all go over there and kick it with him and smoke some blunts at that place. It was a cool place to be. It was the spot, you know. So I go over to Mikey's crib. We're kicking it. We smoke some blunts. We're trying to talk about what we want to do. We're sitting there. We're trying to think. We're thinking, what the fuck are we going to do? Because we were tired of just sitting around smoking blunts doing jack shit all day. You know, it was not a hoot nor a holler. And no, it was hot as fuck outside, and at this point we were high. We weren't even planning on tripping on this day, and we decided, first off, the water park didn't come in until later. We decided that we were going to trip. We wanted to, you know. He had some tabs. He often had tabs, and I was like, all right, I'm down. So he tossed me a couple double dose tabs, or no, excuse me, were they double dose? No, that was a different event. Excuse me, gentlemen. They were not double dose, but he threw me 2 tabs, and they were pretty good. They were pretty good tabs, and in exchange for that, he was like, just supply the weed, you know, just keep us high through the trip, and you can pop these, no problem. So I said, all right, you know, it sounded great. I already had enough weed on me. I had like a half-o, so I mean, I guess I was good to smoke for the day. But when I'm tripping, I smoke a shit ton of weed. So honestly, if I was alone, I probably would have faced that whole half-o if I really could have. But either way, you know, we're kind of sitting there. We hand me these tabs, and we're trying to decide what we're gonna do during the trip. Neither of us had taken our tabs yet. We were like, what are we gonna do during the trip? And we came to the conclusion that we just wanted to play some 2K, you know, play some other Xbox games. He had a 360, not Xbox One, and just chill, you know. We just wanted to do whatever, just walk around, maybe go out and smoke some blunts, maybe smoke some squares, do whatever, just kick it, you know, have some more homies over, have a good old day. So, you know, what ended up happening was I popped one of my tabs and I saved the other. I didn't want to trip too hard, but I wanted to feel a little something, you know, because when I don't have a plan, I'm just kicking it at a homie's house. I never want to trip too hard, because I feel like when I trip too hard, I need to be more prepared, like when I'm taking larger doses. But for this day, I didn't have shit to do, so, you know, 1 tab would be fine. So I pop my tab, Mikey pops his. You know, we're kicking it. And Mikey was a big ass guy, so he popped his 1 tab, and then like an hour later he popped another. And we're kicking it, playing some games. I'm feeling it, you know, maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes in. I'm starting to feel the come up. I'm, you know, kind of, how do I describe it? I mean, I feel like it's kind of pointless for me to describe my trips, because the majority of my trips, unless I say they were different, were similar effect-wise. It's more the things that occur during the trip that separate them, which is why I make so many different trip reports or trip videos, whatever you want to call them. But
love it.
The
Once you turn into a teenager, everything's
similar,
your fault.
You know, I mean,
trust me.
I don't do many special
Because like,
things
hey,
when I'm
where'd
tripping,
my,
but
you
on
know,
this particular instance,
dip go?
we're
I get
kicking
yelled
it.
at
I'm
for it,
tripping,
even
I'm
though
feeling
I
the come
don't
up.
like dip.
You know, it's starting to hit me. I'd already gone into it a little bit baked. We'd smoked, we had plenty more weed. I'm kind of feeling a little jiggy, a little happy, you know, a little bubbly. I'm laughing a lot at stupid shit. Like, I remember,
like, I'd understand if my parents like, hey, where'd this alcohol go? Questioning me for that. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't have taken it. I don't like alcohol. But questioning me about that, that's not like a terrible thing. If you're sitting there screaming at me about towels, this is
funny as hell that this
I'm not stealing towels. I'm not trying to keep, you know, an abundance of towels.
He had another buddy.
That's just not my thing.
Phil.
I'm not like
now,
the
Phil
towel
is a
mobber.
good guy. Phil's a hoot and a holler.
I'm not
great
sitting
guy.
in here with a bunch of boys whipping
me
each
and
other.
Phil,
Like,
we had an interesting relationship.
You know I
We,
don't have friends.
Got off to a bad
I have
start.
friends.
We originally hated each other. We almost
It's only
fought
people
each
coming
other.
to my house
Then we put
because
our
I got
issues behind
I got
us,
a
but, like,
cool
weren't
setup,
friends.
and I
We
don't
just,
like people
ignored each
wrecking
other,
it.
kind of. And then
So,
we
you know,
became
except for
friends, but I was
Fatso,
still sketched out
even
about it.
Fatso
I didn't
gets
know if
hit
he
when he's
was
at
one
my
of two
house.
friends who was gonna try to,
By
like, beat
me.
my ass or
I
some shit.
abuse that
And we
faggot.
became really good friends.
He touches
So,
my crap incorrectly.
Phil hits us
He
up,
molests
and
my
he's like,
chair.
hey,
I mean, he
what are
leaves it
y'all on?
warm,
And
and he
FaceTimes
farts in
Mikey
it, and it
I'm like, that's
reeks.
good, Phil. He's like, what are y'all on?
Like, Fatso's
Mikey's like,
terrible.
we're tripping, and I just missed a jump. Phil's like, that sounds phenomenal. Can I come through? Mikey's like, of course. I'm excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Phil's coming through. This is gonna be a great day. So Phil comes through. Now, Phil,
Where am I getting
he didn't
hit?
have a car.
I just committed
He would
suicide.
always walk everywhere he went. He would Uber if it was really far, but typically he'd walk. So he gets there. It's a hot ass day outside. He's sweating. He's dripping. We're like, oh shit, that's fucked. It's probably hot as hell out. He's like, yeah, it's hot as hell. And you know, he asked us if we were tripping. We're like, yeah. And he didn't want to trip, you know, he didn't want to trip, he just wanted to smoke some weed, so we were like, alright, that's cool. So we're talking, and he was talking about how hot it is outside, And Mikey comes up with the idea, you know, we're still taking turns on 2K. I'm pretty sure we gave Phil a turn since he just pulled up. It was his turn to take some shots. And Mikey brought up the idea of going to a water park. And originally it was just like, as a joke, it was like, we should go to a fucking water park, or like some shit like that. And, you know, it very quickly evolved into like a serious idea. I was like, oh shit, dude, that would be fucking dope. And he was like, yeah, dude, I might have to pop another tab for that. We could be tripping balls at the water park. And I was like, that sounds amazing. That sounds absolutely fucking phenomenal on every level you could think of. And, you know, Phil's still just sitting there. We hadn't smoked any weed yet. We were still tripping. Phil was just playing 2K. We hadn't smoked shit yet. And Phil was like, shit, I'm down. I'll go. It's hot as shit. I was like, alright, I'm down. Let's go. So, you know, I'm sitting there. We're all chilling. And we kind of like agreed to go, but none of us were like making the first move to go. So we were like, alright, let's roll some blunts and then we'll go. You know, we got to be able to smoke while we're in here. So, you know, what ended up happening was we rolled up like 3 blunts, I'm pretty sure. The first one we rolled pretty fat. We just smoked it clean, left Mikey's house, we smacked it, passed it around. It was a decent sized blunt, just a regular blunt, no woods, no games, no Vegas, just a regular old white owl. And, you know, we smacked that around. We go hop in my car, and I let Phil drive. You know, I don't even think Phil had his license, but I was like, dude, you're only baked. I'd much rather have you drive my vehicle right now. You know, and I've driven tripping plenty of times. It's a terrible idea. I quite frankly don't know how I'm alive. But either way, at this point, you know, if I'm like less intoxicated than someone else, I'll let them drive my car, even if I barely know. As long as I like have some sort of indication that they could operate a vehicle, then fuck it, dude. Go ahead. And if you're more sober than me, by all means, just take a shot. But either way, you know, we go hop in my car. Phil's driving. I'm sitting shotgun. Mikey's in back. We got the windows up because it's hot as fuck outside. We got the air blasting. We got the music blasting. We spark up another blunt. We're cruising it to a water park. Who, for those of you guys who are from Illinois, you may know of Raging Waves. Now, Raging Waves is fucking dope. For those of you guys who haven't been there, I'm not a big fan of water parks, but I gotta give it up to Raging Waves. When you're intoxicated, this is a great fucking outing. So, you know, we're riding down there. It's not that far. I think it was maybe like a 30 or 40 minute drive. Not that bad, but Phil was whipping the fucking car. I mean, we were really moving fast. We're hotboxing the second blunt. We smack that shit, roll down the window, throw it out when we're done. We got a whole nother blunt. Now, of course, we were going to smoke this next blunt. And we're a little close to Raging Waves. You know, we're a little close. So what we ended up doing was we held on to the blunt. We you know, pulled up in the parking lot. We parked. And how Raging Waves is kind of laid out is really weird. It's like, I don't know, parking at Raging Waves is just fucking annoying. That's really all I can say. For those of you guys who are from Illinois and have been, you know what I'm talking about. But Raging Waves parking is just fucking bullshit. But either way, you know, we're kicking in my car. We decided to light up the last blunt and just hotbox the car real quick. So,
yeah, I'm not sure how to.
It's a Hoot and a Holler. We're smacking the blunt, passing it around. Final blunt. I'm tripping pretty good at this point. You know, I'm not tripping hard. I'm still okay. I'm still, you know, normal to an extent, just tripping a little bit. Mikey's tripping a little harder than me. And Phil's just baked as hell. So we're all kicking it. We're just laughing. We're having a good time. We're like, all right, let's fucking do this. We hop out my car. We go in. We got our tickets. We didn't have bathing suits. So, I mean, I literally just took my shirt off and walked in that bitch. I'm pretty sure I was in, like, cargo shorts and, like, boxers at that point. I just walked in that bitch. I didn't fucking care. It didn't matter to me. You know, I mean, I had my phone on me, and I had my wallet on me, and I gave Phil my car keys. And what we ended up having to do was we had to get one of those fucking lockers that you can store your shit in. That shit was fucking annoying. Let me tell you guys, it was Phil's idea. Me and Mikey were way too focused on the environment around us to, you know, think of getting a locker or anything in our pockets. But Phil was like, yeah, we should probably put this shit away. So, you know, Phil gets a locker, we put our shit away. And the first and only ride that we actually go on is the big fucking tornado thing. And for those of you guys who, you know, maybe you go to water parks a lot, you've seen what I'm talking about. You know that, like, cyclone kind of thing where you get on this big tube with, like, 4 other people. It goes through the little water slide part, and then it opens up into this big, like, cone shape almost, like a little, like, It's almost like a little like cyclone. That's like what it
All my
is.
bros-
and
all
you
my
just
bros will stab me
fly
back.
really
All
high
the
on each
bros.
side of the wall,
All
and
the
it like
bros.
gets smaller and smaller as you go
bros.
down. It's like
bros.
it's like one of those like frosting squeezy things that you see on like Cake Boss and all that shit. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know, dude. I don't know what they're fucking called, but either way, we went on that thing. You know, we get in line, we're chilling, line's getting shorter, we're getting to the top, and it was crowded as fuck on this day. There was a lot of like fine females there, but I mean, I didn't really care about the females. Like, I would kind of get a look at some ass, but
Why can't
I
I
was
call
just like,
you?
I am in no condition to talk to a woman right now. And as we got on our raft and we were, like, getting ready for the lifeguard to
Are you
even
that
tell us it's good
tired?
to go, I just started laughing my ass off because just the concept of this, just these two idiots tripping and this third guy high as shit just went to a water park for no fucking reason, just tripping balls. Like, that, to me, that's just a hoot and holler. So... the lifeguard gives us the thumbs up, and Mikey sees me laughing, and he's laughing too. He's just geeking at this point.
So,
Phil's sitting there, he's
I'm playing
laughing
Black
because he's
Ops 2
high
right
as
now.
shit. We're all just laughing going down this slide. And all of a sudden, we get out of the slide part.
And yes, that is a keyword I'm not
And my mind was blown. My mind was fucking blown. I could not believe it.
I heard
On
what happened
the
at
inside
Perkins.
of that thing, it felt so big. It felt so
got cussed at by
massive. I felt like
somebody?
a little needle in a haystack in that thing. I felt like a fucking pea in a
Leah or
mansion,
Grandma?
dude. I felt very, very small inside this massive fucking water cyclone I was in. And I was convinced that I was gonna fall off at certain points, because like I was holding on to this raft for dear fucking life. We were just getting whipped around. I'm still laughing, but I'm also terrified.
Is that
I'm
what
laughing
happened
and terrified at the same
Wednesday?
time, like, having fun, but
that
also
why-
like
why
shitting my
yesterday
pants.
went
And,
like that?
You know, Mikey, I don't know how the fuck they were. They were laughing, so I guess they must have loved it. But I loved it too.
I know,
just in a
but you
different way.
said that
We were all
yesterday
laughing.
for your birthday.
Like,
I
oh
was, like, messed
shit,
up.
you know, Mikey's like, oh fuck, you know, we're all chilling.
your
Phil's
feet
just
stay.
laughing. We get to the bottom of it. It's finally over. We hop off our little raft, and you know, the only other thing we did after this was going to Lazy River. And
Contrary to popular
like, that's
belief.
literally all we did. We went on the tornado cyclone thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you showed me
Went
all
through
of
the
them.
Lazy River.
The ones with
and
the,
on the
like-
Lazy River, we like held on to each other and talked about
third?
smoking another blunt. Like we held on to each other with a raft. And
Show
we were
me.
like, yo, we should go smoke again.
Yep,
And we
yep.
didn't have any blunts or any weed with us. We had to go back.
I don't know. I got a
to
pair
my
coming in
house.
the mail
Like,
that I
like,
ordered like 2 weeks ago.
excuse me,
Amazon
I just had the
shipping on
worst fucking
shoes is
pickup.
terrible.
That was awful and repulsive. But either way, you know,
I just got some.
I left all my weed
I
at
just
Mikey's
got a
crib, so I
like
would have had to
$100
go
pair
back
of
and grab
Nikes.
that. And we
I
just
was
wanted to
okay.
go and
Okay,
smoke some more.
I'm gonna start wearing the
So I ended up
Nikes,
having
but
those
before
guys,
school,
the
I'm
Lazy
dropping
We
300
went
on a
back to
pair
our
of Jordan
locker,
6s.
grabbed our stuff. The thing is, for
Like some
some
OG
reason,
shoes.
I didn't take off my socks.
I wanted to buy some Jordan
and I didn't
3s,
really
but those are like
process it
600 each.
until it was too
Like
late.
600 for
getting
one
back to the
shoe. It's
locker,
1200
and I
for
left
both.
my shoes in the locker.
But you can buy them
but
one
not
shoe
my
at a time.
socks. And I was putting my shoes on. I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
feels
you can
kinda
buy them
wrong.
one shoe at a
And
time.
I thought about it and I was like, oh, my socks are fucking drenched. This is repulsive. It was just piss poor. It was just disgusting. But either way, you know, they dried up eventually.
Dude,
I remember we got home
next-
and you know I had to use Mikey's blow dryer to dry
My
off my feet. I
Nikes
was
or
like,
my
yo,
Jordans?
do you have anything like warm I
Like
can put on my feet?
250,
Yeah,
300, something like that.
Comes in the room with like a blow dryer. I'm like, all right, that works.
Yeah.
But I held it a little too close to my feet for a little too long. But either way, that's all I got for today. Hope you guys
Yes,
enjoyed.
but those
Drop a
aren't
like
like
if you did.
original Jordans.
Don't forget to
Like,
enter
Jordans get
Respectful Women
respect.
Wednesdays
It doesn't
over
matter
at
what they look like. Jordans get respect.
Respectfully on.
Yes, original
Thank y'all
Jordans.
for
Anything
watching.
past
See you
Jordan
guys.
20s or Jordan 21s get respect. Or anything before
is
Jordan
like-
21s get respect.
One of the absolute she's one of the coolest people I know. That I've-
Those
yeah,
aren't
especially in
those
the
are not
business, like,
Jordan before Jordan 21.
But yeah, she's just
Dude, there's like Jordan
authentic,
50s
like,
now.
No bullshit.
I'm talking like
real,
OG
like,
Jordan 6s I'm getting.
No pretentious anything. Like,
Or-
she's just a real girl.
or-
She's really cool.
Like the
What?
female rapper revolution is kind of upon us. That there's this
I
like,
know.
great.
No, I'm getting
fun
Jordan
fact
6s,
that
dude. They're like red and got like a
I
white
feel like the
fade on
industry
them.
kind
They're
of tried to
dope.
like write her off at a certain point. They had a
Or
couple
I can go on
memes
the black
about her, and then they
market and I
tried
can
to
get
sort
them
of just
for,
act
like,
like she wasn't. I don't know
150.
exactly what happened, but I do feel like
I love the
anybody's
black
ready
market, dude. That's
for
where I've been getting all my
second
drugs
coming
lately.
there.
Dude,
Just say, well, Mama
I'm
doing it.
so glad that you.
Oh, yeah, I might
you
be
say
a
that
little
because
bit of
dude,
an
honestly,
addict.
since I met her, I've just been like, man, she's something's got to pop for her soon because this is her time, and with like you said, with all the female rapper stuff. I mean, but she's so freaking talented. I'm telling you, man. Like, it's like that video you see where Rick Rubin's working with Jay-Z, and he can't, and it's like blowing his mind because he's just freestyling, and he's going in and he calls all the guys from Beastie Boys like, you gotta come over here and see this.
Yeah.
This is crazy. He's like, he doesn't even write any of this shit down. It's just coming out of him, you know. That's how Mama was in the studio. I mean, she's like, I play the tune. She's like, okay.
Yeah, I would not like that.
Pulls out the piece of paper.
Like, I don't mind lettuce. I just don't like chicken salad.
I'm like, she's like, you've been here for like 20 minutes, and she's already in the booth. And
Like,
it's boom,
or
boom.
mustard.
No, that
Or
doesn't
ranch.
work.
I
Wait,
mean
that
ranch.
works.
I don't like
Go back.
ranch.
Let me punch in here.
Or chicken salad. I don't mind lettuce.
And it was clever, and it wasn't just. You know how some people come in and they freestyle, and you're like, okay, cool, but that stuff that you've had in your back pocket, those are flows that you've.
I bought a 12-pack of you.
But no, I mean, everything that was coming out had to do with the song like the lyrics in my song, and they were really thoughtful, and they were like a girl answering, and it was like freaking poetic,
Staying on top of it,
Well,
one
once
thing
I'm
about
finished with my ginger ale, that's the last thing I'm going back to that. Again, I'm trying to talk to my mom and let me get membership. I'm willing to pay for crap.
like
Shit, you have to be 16 to go in there.
freestyle,
Which I don't think anyone's gonna, look at me and say, no, you're not
half of that
16.
was already in their
Like if I were trying to buy a pack of
without
cigarettes
when they
saying
need
I'm
it, but
18,
when you
yeah,
have a
then
song,
they
you're like,
look at me.
all right, this is
Saying
what my
I'm
song's
16,
about,
no
and then
one,
someone just comes right in and goes,
not a
okay.
single person is gonna be like, no, you're
And
not,
then they
unless
write
they
a
know me.
poem like right next to it that's like a response or an answer directly to your like pop lyrics or whatever. It's crazy. It's really impressive.
Who brings their ID to the gym?
Sit there and rewrite lyrics like old school, like singer-songwriter style.
The only thing I'm gonna be driving is the moped, which I'm gonna go get my permit because I can get it at 14. Yeah, I can get a license for a moped before I can get a car license.
And just spit that shit. You don't have to write it down. I feel like things have sort of changed.
No, this
He
one
would
can go,
listen to
like,
these
up to
sometimes
85.
Kind of knew what he was gonna say.
Grandpa's-
Whereas now, like, most rappers, I shouldn't say most rappers.
Yours
most
can go
rappers who, like,
65.
strive for this one sort of identity,
And then
like
it
the
sort of
Gucci Thug
just
way,
dies.
or whatever, or Gucci Mane or whatever. They go in there and just sort of start just coming up with shit off the top of their head, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you freestyle a lot of stuff that we do too. Like,
That's the fastest you've gone.
That I don't understand at all.
It's a generational thing, and it's like a time thing because a lot of like rap studio sessions will be like 10 motherfuckers in there, like
Okay, Black Ops 2 on keyboard and mouse sucks. Just because aim assist in Black Ops is needed.
Stupid. I'm like, I'm not gonna get in there and just start freestyle, just start
Especially-
saying words. Like, I gotta at least write this shit down.
Dude, I would love to go to the gym. I'd be fine with going in every morning
I
for
don't know
like
what the
an
fuck I'm
hour
about
or
to say
two,
next.
doing a morning workout, and then going in at night and doing like a longer workout after my stream.
I mean, I'm slowly like just going harder and harder with the podcast stuff until I convince myself that I can be a rapper. But I'm not there yet.
Podcasts are very
Lots
good
of
to start
people.
with. I mean, you got the headphones, you got the microphone.
Do their main workout at night
of
before they
rappers.
go to bed so
You
that
got the
they're
right
tired.
crew.
I'm convinced I could ruin the whole thing by making one rap song.
Like I'm not gonna go in at 12 o'clock and like.
No, come on.
Actually, no. I
need to play
can
this.
definitely get some stuff that I can
So
keep
what?
right
Well,
down.
I mean, I freestyle rap.
Neither did Zan, neither did any of these guys. And then they just,
But they started when they were like 15.
I don't know what I'm watching. I don't want to watch Trap House.
I was always
Tales.
petrified of being a white rapper, you know?
I might get banned on YouTube. I might get a 1 week suspension because I'm watching YouTube while
What's up,
I'm
ladies
on
and
YouTube.
gentlemen, boys and girls?
that-
It's your
that
boy
tends to
Goblin,
get me
and
blocked.
today we're coming in with a
I got a
Hoot
warning
and
for it,
Holler,
but I'm
a
not
true
showing the
classic,
video.
if
I'm
you
just showing
will.
my gameplay.
Today we're
the
coming in
music,
with a
the
video
video
talking about the time that I went to a party with my good
I
friend
hadn't been
Ashton, and the
last
cop
time I
showed
did
up.
this, my stream got
He got
stopped,
kind of
and, like,
ugly.
I got an
He
email.
didn't really know anyone at this
That
party,
hasn't
but he
happened.
sold
and
a
I've
lot
been
of drugs.
like
We
a
were
couple
really
hours I've
intoxicated.
been playing this game.
It
now.
was a fun time. So hope you guys enjoyed this video.
I've been
Drop a
playing
like.
Black Ops 2 a lot.
And also, I hope you guys are enjoying the more consistent.
I'm trying to
uploads.
get back
I
in
really
Fortnite, but,
appreciate
like,
all
you know,
the new
Black Ops 2 is
subscribers
fun.
for the past like 3
Like, and I'm
or
just
4
playing
days.
multiplayer,
We've
not
actually
even
gotten over
zombies.
250 new subscribers a day. So, to everyone new,
And I'm not
who's
trick
tuning
shotting
in,
either,
Thank
which
you
means
all
I'm not
so
getting
much for
angry every 5
subscribing. I hope
minutes.
you guys enjoy the content.
On a,
Be sure to turn notifications on to tune in on live streams too. Let's dive into it, baby. So listen,
I got a question.
this
Have you
happened
heard
a
of something
long
called
fucking time ago.
Plutonium?
I'm really stoned right now,
So I'm gonna be bad with
Okay.
dates. I think
I got
how
it.
accurate I am with dates. in
how would
all
I
my
describe
videos
it?
really
It's not
depends
like a
on
tab.
how intoxicated I am as
Or
a
like a pill.
reporter. And I'm really
It's like
high.
a mixture
So
of like.
I don't really like month-wise.
I'm not sure how to describe it. It's
But I know that I was 17
kind of
years
like
old,
a
ladies and
pill with a
gentlemen.
crystal inside.
So I'm gonna say this had to be around
and you
like,
pop it, and it's just
this
the most
was
amazing
like
thing ever. I got like
maybe April,
4 of those
May
for $5 off my friend because apparently he didn't like them. I loved them.
Wow, that's a long time.
I
ago.
laid in my room, stared at the
Fuck,
ceiling, and
27,
like, I just felt
2016,
jittery.
Pardon me. Holy
Like
fuck.
so
about April of
I'm not sure.
2016,
It was
this
just
took
like
place.
fun. It's like if you
And
took a
me
dose
and my
of
good
fun,
friend
like
Ashton,
a
for
dose
those
of
you guys who
happiness.
aren't familiar with him, most of you guys, the vast majority are.
I'm not sure how
a
to
little
describe
brief
it.
summary. He was a good friend of mine who sold a lot of drugs. One of my
I don't know.
closest friends.
Me and Cooper played a little bit of Fortnite.
Unfortunately, he passed away a while ago. But this is one of my favorite stories about
Cooper
him.
denies ever smoking
So,
weed with me.
basically, we were
He's like,
hanging
"No,
out
I
one
didn't.
night.
I've
I used to
never
go and
smoked
pick him up because I had a car and he didn't. He didn't even.
Doesn't
have a
his sister
license,
sell
right?
it?
And I used to always go pick him up and help him
Okay,
drive
well,
around
she's
and sell
anyone
drugs,
who
right?
smokes at some
And,
point is technically a plug.
You know, I
'Cause if
hit
your
him up.
buddies are asking you
it's
for
pretty
weed, you're
normal,
probably
man.
like,
I'm
okay,
hey,
yeah, I'm gonna
what are you
charge
trying
you a
to
little
do?
bit
You
more
gotta
than
plan
what
tonight,
I
let's
paid
get
for it,
fucked
and
up.
make some
You know,
profit.
not expecting anything. He's like, yeah,
There's a
dude,
lady at my
for
work
sure, come
that's
pick
like
me
her
up.
only job, and
I got
she
a
like
party
works at
we can
Perkins
go
for like
to.
a. So that
And
it doesn't
whenever
look weird when
Ashton
she's
said that
cashing
he had a
thousands
party,
of dollars.
it didn't
And, you know, she's
like
willing
we
to
weren't
sell
going
mine.
to party. We were going so he could sell
like, she's
drugs,
making
and
bank.
I would get to get fucked up and lit for free at a party all night. Like if we had to like pay admission, like he would cover mine, or like he would just.
What
get
is
me
it with
fucked up on
hoes
drugs
against
all
answering
night. It was
snaps?
great.
Like
she
all
would
my
take
bros
me there
answering
and kinda,
snaps.
helping
Like I've had
helping
okay,
him set
my
the
hoes
scene,
have answered
you know, help him
maybe
out. You know, having his
3
back.
times
Because
today.
a party's going in as a lone
No,
drug
nah,
dealer
nah.
to a party where you don't know anybody. That's pretty. That could be.
Oh,
scary.
I've had
You get
well,
into a
yeah,
bad scenario very
easy
quickly
over 3
in that
snaps in one day.
environment,
I'm
right?
just talking.
All it takes is to bump into the wrong group of guys who are just fucked up enough, and then that gets ugly. But if you got a homie, you're chilling. But either way,
Well, yeah, in a
so
day.
I go pick him up. I whip my ass on over there. And Ashton had a bunch of drugs, right? He comes and hops in my car.
Well, you also go
and
on
he's
Quick
got
Ad and just
Xanax
like,
on him. He's
you're
got
my new
ketamine.
friend.
He's got the goodies.
You get into a relationship for a
hops
girl
in
with
my
a
car, he's
month,
like, dude,
start saying you love her,
I
and then
just got
break
drug
up the
tested
next day
today.
after
He
you
was
go to
on
my house.
probation,
It's like
right?
after you go to my
So
house.
one day a month,
Every time it's
literally,
like after you go to my house,
I got
then
drug
you don't
tested
like
one
her
month.
anymore.
He wasn't on the like weekly random phone call.
It makes no sense.
He got a set schedule.
You were willing to date a 12-year-old for a minute,
able
and then
to
you went to
smoke
my house
one
and you're
day
just
a
like,
month.
yeah,
That
dude,
was
she's
all he
not,
would allow
she's not my
himself
thing anymore.
So
Like,
on
you
this
make
particular day,
no
he hops in my
sense.
car
It's
and
like
he's
my
"Dude,
house, just like your way of,
I can smoke. Like
I'm gonna be smart.
I,
not
like,
getting dated.
I was like, holy shit.
Because it was like
these
a
days
couple
were
weeks
special.
after you
this
went to
guy
my house,
loves
you and Brooklyn
smoking.
broke
I
up.
always had.
You and that one
and
12-year-old
I felt
quit
bad
talking
because like he
after
couldn't
like
tap my blunt.
the
He would have
while
to sit
you
there
were at
and
my
watch me
house.
hit the blunt while we were like.
Have you even
chilling
talked to her?
together all the time?
Like,
It
ever
sucked,
since?
right? So the one day a month was special. And
No,
the
the
fact that we
12-year-old.
were going to a party made it
What,
even
Layla?
better. So
That's the-
I
that
asked
was
him
the 12-year-old
right off
thing.
the bat. I'm like, when is this
Yeah,
party?
then, yeah, her.
Where is it? Who's going? Like, what's going on? And
I
he
mean, like,
has
actually, like,
basically
talk.
no information. All he has is like an address
You're
and
just
a
like,
general idea.
it's
of what
always
time
like the
it is.
1 month mark. You hit a month with a, after
Yeah, dude,
Sage,
we should
it's like you
probably
hit a
go when the
month
sun
with a girl
goes
and it's
down.
over.
And I was like,
Like, I'm just done with you.
I was like,
You're
is
used.
that like
You're
what
used
time?
after
He's
1
like,
month,
I mean, I don't
and
know,
you
that's-
still got no
That's
pussy.
probably when party started. And I was like,
You're just like
oh,
in your head.
you-
She's used
you
after
really
a month.
don't
Doesn't
know
matter if I got
anything
anything
besides
from
the
her.
fact that there's allegedly a party happening. I mean, he was like, yeah, pretty much. Apparently, one of his customers
I
told him
would
about this
argue
party,
that.
and
I would
it
argue
was
that
like
easily.
from kids that
I've
like,
got quite a
went to,
few.
like some neighboring school.
Like, just like
But
past couple days.
like
And
when
I'm
we
going-
got there,
and I gotta-
didn't recognize a single
What time is it? What time is
face,
it? It's-
and
oh,
he
it's
didn't
10.
seem to either.
I got a
But it was
date in
pretty
under
fun.
48 hours.
So nevertheless, you know, we're kind of like, all right, well, let's just hang out for a little bit, and then we'll go
Not
to
for
the
a
party. We'll go to wherever this address is and see
When?
what's going on, right? And so we're hanging out, cruising around town. And
That
we're
was a
smoking
girl
some
I
blunts.
knew
It's great.
who I
We
didn't
would
think was.
smoke
I was
all
just messing
night.
with her.
That
I didn't
was
think
the
she would
one
actually
day
send
we
me
were
titty
smoking,
pics.
and then he was
I
not
was just
smoking
messing
the
with
entire
her.
rest of the month because he couldn't just.
I didn't
have
think it
one
would
night
happen.
and be done. Like,
I
Sure,
didn't even
his
like.
tolerance
Dude,
is
she was
always
like
low.
a
Like, he
friend
always
of
gets
my
so
the girl I
fucking
like.
fried.
But
But
the only reason I ever talked to that chick
he could
was
handle
because
his
she was
shit.
friends with the girl.
So
I
he
liked.
would smoke a fuckload. So like,
No.
even though he
Oh,
smoked
you're
once a
talking
month,
Nino,
holy shit, this guy would get ripped out of his mind. Like, this guy could
Okay, my
drive
team
on,
sucks
like, every
dick.
other drug. I don't want to say
We're
could,
160
but,
to
like, I've seen
385.
him do it, and in all honesty, he wasn't fast or anything, right? But
Haven't
when
you watched
he
like
smoked,
all of Naruto?
as much as he
Naruto
did
like 5
with
times
me
by now.
on those like one day.
I
like,
swear
that
you
one
watched
day
that
out
when
of
you
the
were a
month,
kid.
Holy shit, we got
How?
so high because I smoke more than normal.
You've only finished it
And
once.
he would keep up, so we would just be fucked up.
We've watched a lot of it.
Stoned out of our minds. That classic kind of high school high. So we're cruising around Stone, we're high as fuck. We hit McDonald's, grab some food.
Dang!
We're just kind of trying to blow time, but we're both really stoned. We've just been rolling blunts all night, riding around smoking. Doing some serves here and there. No notable
I
serves,
forget,
nothing
that
like
show's been
crackhead
around
show,
longer
just
than I've been
dropping off to some
alive.
other kids we went to school with and stuff. And finally, he's like, oh, we should probably ask about this party. So he hits up his guy, and he's like, hey, when's this party going on? And he's like, oh, whenever, dude. And he's like, oh, I guess it's going on now. Let's go. So we didn't really know, like, what kind of party this is going to be. We didn't know if there was going to be a shitload of people. We didn't know if there was going to be, like, 10 people. We didn't know, because the term party's always broad when you don't know anyone who's going. Because
How do I unlock
typically
something?
it's
I
a
need to
good
unlock
sign
a new
if you're just like a
primary.
complete stranger and
I
you have
have
no
to-
idea whose crib it is and you're going. Because that's typically a sign of
Yeah,
a big
I'm
party.
just not into
But
that
that's
type
not
of stuff.
always the case. I mean, sometimes you can show up and it'll still be just some shit bucket party. But we pulled up.
In what?
Ashton had the ketamine. Ashton had
sup?
Xans. We had weed. We were
In
big
sub.
chilling.
What
I
does that
even
mean?
stocked up on some weed. He wasn't like, he didn't sell.
Oh,
ton
why?
of weed. Like he would
Oh, yeah.
sell weed on occasion.
Yeah.
But he never
Yeah,
like
I was about
stocked
to
up on
say,
it. He's always
good
like,
for
dude, it's
you.
so hard to just have it and not smoke it. So he would
You
would
know,
never really sell
I'm
it. But
unlocking
I brought a
crack
good
quick.
amount.
I
So
just
I
don't
even
like it.
sold a little bit of weed this night. So we pull up to where this address is.
I don't like any of this.
When I tell you, this was one of the like biggest parties I've ever been to. By
I'm not
far.
sure if I like
this.
this
Was crazy, and it was one of those houses where it wasn't a big house. It was just one of those houses
That's a
with a
smoke
giant
grenade. I don't
fucking
want that.
backyard, like one of those really
Why would
suburban
I want
houses with a
EMP?
huge
I
ass
kind of
yard,
want it,
like
but
a
I
little
don't.
fire pit. Like there wasn't a bonfire
I'll take an
going,
EMP,
but like
screw it.
they
I don't care.
obviously would do that at this house. But like, there's people pouring out of the back of the house. It's like motherfuckers are deep, dude. It's
overkill.
Crazy.
I want to unlock overkill.
So we pull up, and we're
Score
high
streaks.
as fuck, and
I
we have
don't
all
want
these
any of
drugs
this crap.
on us.
All
And
I
we're
gotta
trying to figure
do
out,
is
like, should we
push
leave some in the
F10,
car?
and
No,
I have a
probably
new-
not.
in a new
And
game.
we also figure we should probably park a little far
let
away.
me show
And
you
that's
the way
important.
I
I'll
have
get
to get
why
into a match.
later. But we decided we should
It
probably
loads
park
up
around
this
the block. I
long
mean, there was
list
no parking very close to the house
that I have to
but
choose from, and it's
even
like
then, I didn't
all
want to park,
different
like,
game
I didn't want to look
modes,
like I was part of the group of
because
cars.
I'm on a
right?
weird setting
So,
thing.
We went
I
and
still
parked
gotta go
around the
take a shower
corner
tonight.
and just hiked it.
I
for
showered
like a
yesterday,
block
but
to
I
get
gotta
to this
do my
house,
face
right?
crap tonight.
And there's people
want-
like
I wanna
sitting
do
on
gun
the
game.
porch
Let's
and
do gun
shit,
game.
dude. There's like
See, I
obviously
click
like
that.
I don't know
now
if you
gotta
call them security, but like
wait
the
a minute.
bouncer
You
kids
got
at the
a big
door
ass
collecting the
forehead.
money. And of course, there's a fee for us to
Are
come
you wearing
in.
your hair in a
They're
bun?
like, you guys got a bottle? We're like, no. And we didn't want to like show
Why?
what we had, right? We didn't want to go like,
I
oh,
guarantee
we
you
just
my
have
hair is
fucking
longer than
drugs
yours
and
by now.
scales. So we're just
Guarantee
like,
it.
oh no, we
My
didn't
hair
bring a
is
bottle. And they're like,
long.
all right, that's 5 for each of you. So
Like, I can
Ashton
actually
just
put
hands
it.
the guy a
I
pen.
seriously
I'm like,
walked
"Good luck,
downstairs. My
guy."
hair was up,
'Cause
and Layla was like,
listen, I probably didn't have a 5 on.
Are you
All
wearing
I
a
had was my
ponytail?
weed and Ashton's scale, and I was trying to make some money. I probably
seriously
didn't
got
make
into a match.
$5
Are you
at the time,
kidding me?
honestly. I was a broke young man back then. We were hustling for every penny to pay for the
I've got
weed
it
back
combed
then.
up right now.
Because I'd spent all my
Or,
money
like,
on weed.
to the
But
side
either
or
way,
something.
so I'd go into, or we went into this party, right? And
Where
it's
are
just
you
shoulder to
sluts?
shoulder right off the bat. It's crazy. And it's one of those things where, like, in the kitchen, like, it's one of those houses where you walk in and you can see
Yes, I
both
got the
levels,
kill.
if that
Okay.
makes sense. Like, the entry is on the middle, and then you look up and
Wanna
you
hit
see
the faggot?
the upper half of the house,
Oh,
and you
you're
see the
faggot.
basement, too. If you guys know what style of house I'm talking about, I feel like this is such an easy-to-picture, like, American suburban
How long's
house
yours?
for all of you, like, I don't know, Midwesterners out there, you know? You guys
You probably got
probably
yours,
either,
like, past
some,
your
but
eyes
some of
at
you guys
this
might even live in this house that I'm describing. I don't know. I picture this so vividly right now. Like, this is like such
You
a
made me wreck my
stereotypical
hair.
house. But either
Oh
way,
yeah.
so
Yeah, your hair is
we walk in
long.
and there's just people everywhere, even on the stairs.
Why do you
just
let it grow out that
everywhere.
far?
People got cups. Some people got bottles. Some
You
people
don't
got
look better
cans.
that way.
It's like,
You look gay. You
pardon me.
look gay.
Everybody
You look like one of
is
those
just
weird Japanese
full
dudes.
drinks and shoulder to shoulder in this.
Tell me you don't.
It is murky. It is moist in this
You look
party.
like a weird Japanese
We're
dude.
kind of lurking around. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
When
And
it's
whenever
back,
Ashton
dude, you
and
just look
I
gay.
would go to these
You
parties
just look
together,
like
he
a
would always go to sell
Japanese
drugs,
gay.
like I said.
You're
But
a
the funniest
Japanese
thing about
gay
it was the
that's
thing.
Mexican.
And this is what we did for the most of the night, right? We would
You
go
look
around
like a
together.
Japanese gay
kinda,
Mexican. Like it's weird to
merge
say.
our way through like the
That's
crowd
like
if it was
my
one of
way
these
of
big
describing
parties, and just like force
I am
ourselves
winning
into a
gun
group,
game
just,
right
like,
now.
kinda, like pick up
How?
on the conversation and join it.
I
right?
never win gun games.
And then we'd always be
I
like,
always get screwed
he'd
on like a
always be
pistol
like,
or something.
oh,
crap,
like,
and then everyone has a
you
a
guys
better
want some
gun,
coke
so
or
you have to
something?
wait
Like
till the one
almost like
faggot's
offering
standing
them.
still.
Like you'd be like, oh, you guys want some K? Like, want a
That is the
piece of
worst
K?
gun ever. I
And,
hate
like,
burst assault rifles.
If they didn't say hell yeah, I always be like, oh yeah, for
Like,
sure. You know?
no
Like,
game,
and if they said,
no
yeah, I'd
game
kinda
has a
go along
good
with it.
burst
We
assault
had a
rifle
little
except for
sales
Fortnite,
pitch,
and
okay?
that's sort
we
of
were
the
some
odd.
crafty little
I still
fuckers.
prefer the Scar
So-
half the time.
Or like with weed even, I do it with blunts. Like on this
Still
occasion I
prefer
did
the
it with
Scar
a blunt
half
with
time.
this one group of people. But we would go around from group to group, and with the first group, it was this group of dudes. Most stereotypical suburban group of dudes ever.
Let me shoot a faggot, you faggot.
And they're like, oh yeah, dude, we're down. So we go find this little like
I hate
empty
it when my
counter space
crosshairs
on
on
the
the
kitchen
dude,
counter.
and it's just
and Ashton
nope,
busts out a
nope.
scale.
Like,
and
this
a little
game
bit of
clearly
K.
has a lot of bloom.
And he puts it on his debit card and just passes the card to me. And I do some.
So,
and then
I got a
he
question.
does some. And we're getting lit at this point. We just now did some K for the first time the whole night, which was surprising. Ashton usually, whenever he had it on him, he was always doing it in front of me, around me. But
You said that
tonight,
you
this was the first time I saw him do it.
you got your car back. You can't go over
It was
60.
almost like scary, dude. I was like, is
5.
this a new man? I think it was the weed.
That means you can still go on the highway.
Like, he only did it because we were in the party scenario. It was really crazy. But
you have
either
to go
way,
a minimum of 60 on the
we
highway.
bumped this shit.
and a
And
maximum
he's got
of
the
80.
scale out. And then he looks over to these kids.
So that
and he
means
goes,
you
"So
can
how
get-
much did you guys want?"
Why?
And it's so
I
like
can pay.
I remember
why?
the first
Like, I'm
time
just
he
trying
did
to have
that with
one
me.
good
It
week
was like
with you.
it was
this summer.
hilarious. It was like a scene out of a movie. The
Like-
first time we did this to someone, he was like, dude, just go
One
with
good
it.
week
Like, just
this
watch
summer.
this. Just go with it. I do this all the time. And
Like,
he,
I'll go to
does
the-
this.
I'll go to work
at
out
this
with
party.
you,
These complete
like,
strangers. Like
I'll do
so
all the
funny.
crap that
we didn't
you
even
wanna
know
do.
these kids' name. But just the way he set it
We're
up
just gonna
was so
get,
smart.
greened out
They look
afterwards.
at it, they see how good it is.
Okay, maybe not
They watch
greened
us
out.
do
That
it.
doesn't
get
happen to
lit,
me anymore.
And then he's like, "How
Like,
much you
okay,
want?"
that
You know,
one.
it,
I don't
it was
think
just
I've ever been
perfect.
greened out.
One of the
Oh,
kids
there was
ended
that
up
one
buying
time.
us a little
Remember
bit.
when I was sitting
I
there
think he ended up
spinning and I
buying,
couldn't
like,
stop
blunts
and
for
we were
all
on
his
Fortnite?
friends. Ashton charged like $5
That
a
was
month.
fun.
And parties are that perfect kind
That
of
was
scenario
fun.
where you can do
That
these little
do-si-do
bumps and charge
crap.
$5.
My dad said he'd give
line,
me
all this crazy
like an
shit
ounce of that
and
crap
make
for free.
racks. So we would just be going to
I
these
would
parties,
be-
going to different
I
groups of
would be
people and doing
livid.
this. But we just charge for bumps. We wouldn't, you know, like we'd have
So
a
wait,
scale out, but he wouldn't scale
you said a
bumps,
cart's
you know, like,
45.
it was more so like
Do you know if a cart,
if
the
they
cart's
wanted
there,
like
half
a
gram or a
or
whole
something,
gram?
then all right, let's go in the bathroom or something and scale out some shit. So we do this to a couple
Well,
groups, right?
A cart's
And
pure
we're
THC.
just kind of going from group to group, and it's
which
going well.
means
We're doing it with, you know,
not gonna take as
Xans or
much.
something where we can't just be like, hey, you want to go pop a Xan? We have to do it with like K or
What would you
like,
say going
weed, like,
50-50
you wanna
on
come hit
fourth?
this blunt or some shit like that. Or like at one point we were even just walking around.
Well,
with
I can
blunt,
okay.
and
We can get a
people were
fourth
like,
for
yeah, can
100,
tap
or we
that?
can
And just be
get a
like, yeah,
half
you need some
for
shit?
150.
Like we just kind of trade off. So we were walking around. I was serving some weed. I sold
What do you think
a
about
little
that?
bit. Ashton was serving a good amount of K and a lot
No
of
idea?
Xans, actually, which was surprising. Everyone in there was drinking.
At all?
And that's the
Well, I
cardinal
mean,
rule. We don't drink.
I can't go this week.
Everyone
I
there
gotta
was
be
drinking
here
and
this
buying
weekend.
the same
Like, it
We
gives
walk
you
around
till
making
the
a
next
party.
paycheck at least.
And finally, there's this group of ladies at
And
the
as long as you don't
party,
go
right?
blow
A
everything.
very good-looking group of girls. It's like
Okay,
3
for real,
girls,
dude.
right?
You need to start
me and
doing it. I
Ashton
do, and like
walking
at
by.
least save half your paycheck
And
so
Ashton,
that when
of
you
course,
like run into
he
times where
walked
you
right
need
up
money,
to
you're
him.
not out.
He's like, you guys want some K? One of the
Like,
girls is like, yeah. One of the girls is
point of
like
having
ready
a
to
job.
go.
So that when you need money, you have some.
I'm like, all right, for sure. You know, let's see how this goes. Because I figured these were so much attractive women. Ashton was probably actually going to give them some head.
Why?
And he did. So we go over once again. We find a little empty counter space. And
Whoa,
we're chilling.
I
we're
meant,
talking
don't you have
for
the
a
money
little
for that
bit.
right now?
Dude, we're getting bumped into. Like, we're like, dude, it's like we're at a concert. Like, it's ridiculous. This party was fucked. You could barely hear. We're like screaming.
This
at
guy's
each
so
other,
angry,
you
I
know,
just
like,
killed him through a
He's
wall.
like, what's your
That's
name?
the,
And that
I
kind
love
of shit.
that
It's
you can
ridiculous.
shoot through walls, but I hate it at the
So,
same time because I get killed
We're
by
chilling.
it so often.
We're doing a little K. He gives me a bump first. Unfortunately,
Dude, my trigger finger is better
so
than your
fuck
fully
that
automatic
shit.
gun. I'm
Don't
telling
do
you.
that.
So he gave me a bump, then he took a bump.
This kid in chat just said
Soda.
this
Holy
man has
shit.
a semi-auto gun. I swear this guy, this kid just made a fully automatic, semi-automatic gun, fully
so-
automatic.
He gives me a bump, he takes himself a bump, and then he looks over to these girls, and he's like, so, which one of you guys would like a bump? And this one chick's like, oh, yeah, me. And, I mean, literally the most stereotypical chick you could imagine at a party. It's like pretty little blonde
I'm only
chick,
three-way.
and like a black, like, drug rug, dude. Like, literally just, like, very, very typical, like, drug girl at a party who wanted to do K probably all night.
So, I'm
And this
guessing
was like a heaven
you don't
sent
know
opportunity
numbers
for her,
at
you
all?
know?
With,
So we're
like,
chatting, introducing ourselves. We're having
Okay,
a
out
good
of the people you know,
conversation, right?
do you know
we're
anyone?
having a good old
Nah, Leah
conversation,
said she could hook
doing
me up
our
with that.
thing. And you know, like we only got the chance to talk to these girls for maybe like 5-10 minutes. Ashton wasn't trying to sell them. We were just chilling a little bit, and of course there was one girl
Let's
who was
go, I
like
was top
kind of
three,
the
I
odd
don't
one
care.
out, but not really, because like we weren't like hooking up with these chicks. We were literally just like
So if we were to go,
conversating. We just met these girls. We were like, oh, like where you guys from? How old are you guys? All that kind of shit.
Be $90
And just
it'd be
talking to them a
45
little
bucks
bit.
each per person.
And as we're talking, just doing this K, everything's going well, la-di-da-di-da. All of a sudden,
I got a question.
like the wave,
Do you
like the
have
herd of people,
like a battery thing, or am I bringing
just
mine?
starts moving, like clearing the fuck out. And but it's so loud
Well,
that like you
that's
can't
what I
hear
mean. I
what
have
anybody's saying. And
one of those.
finally,
I got my dad to order one.
word gets around to where we're at.
So
That
next
it's
time I go to his
cops,
house, I'm
and
getting
we're
it.
like, oh, it's time to go. And obviously, this
He
was
is
gonna
an actual
happen,
guy
right? Like, this shit was bound to fucking happen. Like, there's no way it wasn't. There was people standing out front, out back, on the sides of the house. It was loud as fuck.
I gotta admit,
There
I
was
have tried
cars
some
parked on
things
both sides of the
lately,
street, all the way
but I have
down
not
the
tried
entire
acid, and
block.
that's, like,
It was
the one thing I wanna
literally
try.
like it was
And shrooms,
inevitable.
and
The
shrooms. I have not
cops were gonna
tried
get called to this
psychedelics.
party at one point or another, and they
I wanna do
did.
Molly.
So they get called, everyone
Molly
starts
sounds
moving,
fun.
and we immediately did. And these girls kind of split off from us. Ashton's like, fuck that, dude. You got all your stuff? I'm like, yeah, I had like probably a zip. Not a zip. I probably had like 3/4 of my zip left at this point. And like, I'm like, oh shit, dude. We gotta run. And listen, I'm not the quickest runner. I'm a chubby dude. I always have been.
You said
alright?
that you're not
I'm
willing
not
to
the
try
fastest
anything,
runner.
really?
Ashton was much faster than me. That guy was on probation for
Why?
grand theft auto, so I'd imagine he had to
I'm not saying let's go do meth and heroin
So
and,
he,
you know,
that
start
kid had
shoving
the
crack
legs.
up her,
That kid's
up her
definitely
butt,
faster.
but like,
But I was trying to keep up either way, and I kind of was out of adrenaline. And we run out of the house, right? We run through the backyard, and like the backyard is such a run.
You're like
You don't
me
go
when
through
I
the
was
front.
younger.
The backyard like is bigger than like
it's weird.
Like,
We have somehow
the
got
length
opposite.
of
I
the
guarantee you,
backyard,
a
I
couple
don't
years
think I
ago,
could,
you would be like, hell yeah.
exaggerate. I don't think it's possible to exaggerate. This was the biggest yard I've like ever seen, and it was fenced in too. It was all fenced in. So like, someone had already gone to like the back corner of the fence and just
I don't know.
kicked
I
the
just
whole
know
thing.
that
Like there was
meth,
already a
heroin, and
part where
crack
it
are
was
like
smashed.
matters for me.
So we run through that, and there's
Also, like
everywhere.
Percocet,
Everywhere. It looked
what are
like
those
there was
called?
like some sort of just zombie apocalypse happening. Where everyone was running
what's
for,
like the
someone's
actual
infected
name?
in the
Like
house, dude.
Percocet,
It was fucking
oxycodone.
crazy. So we're just sprinting. Like we realized pretty quickly as we're running.
Opioids.
I kinda catch up.
Opioids are
Like,
not
it's
my
up and
thing.
You have to get out of the yard.
That's just
and
milk.
notice that there's not like a million places.
Someone
And we're
Xanax.
just kinda cutting
Xanax
through
would be
the
like
yard.
the Xan.
We're trying to stay away from
Xan.
everyone else. Social distancing,
Got
if
some
you
fun
will.
on some Xans.
And we're like, we kind of
Turn into
rendezvous and we're
Lil
like, dude,
Xan.
where do we go? Like, what do we do? I don't think we can just go get in the car, you know? Like, I
Do you
doubt
know
the
who Lil
cops are,
Xan
like,
is?
staking out, but at the same time, they probably are. We have hella
Okay, I was
drugs
about
on
to say,
us, so it's not a
terrible
chance
at
we can
rapping
really
nowadays. We
afford
heard
to
the
take.
one-hit song.
So we go creeping around for a little bit through the neighborhood, and we're like lost.
He
at
has
point.
one
We're
song.
trying to
He's a
use our
one-hit wonder.
phones, but
Very
the problem
big
is we're
one-hit
also
wonder, but
trying
he's
to
a
not be seen because we don't know where the cops are.
I
Like
had
we
14
never
kills. I
saw
was
the front of the
somehow
house.
at the bottom.
We
How?
like we saw siren. I'm certain there
Oh,
was
I'm gonna have to go
cops,
shank
but we don't
someone.
know where they are or how many. Right? Like
I don't know. I found a plug
not a
in
clue.
like Benton,
No
which is
information.
currently in
everywhere.
Colorado.
There's still people.
So that's the nice
at
part
us.
is that like I
There's
at least
literally
know she's getting
still
some,
people
like,
pouring
decent
out of the
crap.
house when we're like
Like we're not
well
getting anything
away
laced
from
with
the
like
house
fentanyl.
now. It's
or meth.
crazy how many people were actually packed in there. when everyone started flooding out, right?
Fatso.
So we kind of swoop around the block a little bit, and we're like, oh, fuck. And we take a break. We crouch behind this backyard
What is it
fence of
with
one of the
people in
neighbors,
anime?
and we do
Like,
a
I
little
don't
bit of
understand
petting
what
to calm
people
us
like so
down.
much
We're
about
like,
it.
oh, shit, dude.
It's just not
We
for
gotta figure
me.
this out. So we're kind of walking around.
I have.
And we're just looking around, trying to see
I've
if
watched-
we see any cop cars, or if we see
I've
any
watched
angle to
quite
get
a
to our
few of
car,
them. I
because
just
we don't
don't
even
like
know
them.
what street we're on. Like, we kind
The
of
only one I liked
but
was-
like, we're just disoriented at this point. Like, even maps wasn't really helping.
I don't
very
watch
much.
TV.
So, finally,
I took my
I
cable
don't know
box
what
out of my
kind
room
luck
on
it was, but
purpose.
finally, we're just like cutting between
Netflix, I watch
houses.
romantic
I just
comedies.
see my car between a gap in these houses. And I'm like, oh shit, there's the car. So we kind of
I
wait.
watch
we wait a
romantic
little bit
comedies,
until
that's
the
it.
amount of people really died down, and I only saw like 2 other kids. And there was this other group of kids, and they were doing the same thing. So they kind of like came over. To me
Yeah,
and
but
asked me,
like romantic comedy. Well, does it?
still
Do
cops, and we're
most
like, that's
most
why we're
well-known
here, dude. Like, we
animes don't show
know
titties.
either. And Ashton, being the fucking criminal drug dealer he is, goes, yo, you guys need some.
I don't want
The
hentai.
kid actually buys one. The kid actually buys
not
one. He's
looking
like,
for
"Yeah,
hentai."
dude, I'll take one, actually. So Ashton serves this kid a bar. then
Not
we go our
exactly
separate ways.
specifically. I'm just saying like most rated R movies are like fine with
And
you know foul
we're still
language
waiting.
and,
Like,
fun
they
crap.
decide like they're gonna.
I don't like
they're
a
"All right, well, I'm gonna go
romantic
this way."
movie that
I'm
like
all right, well,
kind
we're
of
gonna wait
blurs the
here till
lines
some
in between
cops go by.
reality. Like
We
if
wait.
like this
I
dude's
don't know. We
family's
didn't
messed
check the
up,
time,
show
but
that
it
his
felt
family's
like
messed
10,
up. Don't
15
show
minutes.
like
It felt like longer
the
than that.
non-messed up
Probably
parts.
5 minutes. And
Like
no
if this
cars
is
even
family's
went
trying to
by.
take a peek
Like,
up her
the
skirt
flood
while
of
she's you
cars
know
that whipped
snorting
out of nowhere
coke.
had kind of gone. So we were like, all
Show
right, let's
that.
just
Don't
go
try to
for
act
it.
like, oh yeah, she's such a good girl.
Like,
She's not snorting
so
coke while the
we did
dad's looking up on
Was we
her.
went and got in the car before I even turned the car on.
That
we
was
were
a
super
very
stealthy
bad
about it.
way.
We looked around like before we got to the car. First, of course, we like kind of snuck up.
The only anime
not
I have
very
ever
stealthy.
like decently liked was that
I'm
one
pretty sure a
gambling
trained
anime we
cop,
watched at your
even
house
an
that one
untrained
summer.
cop, just like an intern at the
That
station,
one
would've
gambling
seen
anime
us
we
with a
watched
sober
that
eye.
one summer at your
We're
house.
intoxicated enough, thought we were just really
I remember-
so we're like
That was
into
like
the
the
side of the
only
house,
thing
like,
I've ever
opposite of
liked,
each
and I
other, and we're
only
like,
watched it
"Oh,
because
your
that was
side
the
clear?
only
Yeah,
thing to watch
my
because my
side's clear,
phone was
okay."
dead.
So we go to the car, right? And we hop in the car. And we immediately stash our shit in like the most hidden spot we can reach under the seat. Because my car, at the time, I was driving my mom's Honda CRV. So it wasn't like the greatest car. So, I mean, it just
I shanked you, mother.
Nowhere to hide shit. It's an
Suck
open
my
trunk
cock.
car.
Suck my
It's like
cock.
a halfback style SUV, like, you know, you
No.
can access the trunk from the, well, wait, all SUVs are like that. I don't know why I
No,
said
why?
halfback. That's just
Why?
SUV. I'm stoned, dude. Whatever. But either way, it's just like there's nowhere to really hide anything in this car. You know what I'm saying? So we just stash our drugs under the seat as best we can, and we drive out of the neighborhood real slowly. And we take a way out where we don't have to pass that house again or that street.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You guys know you've watched my channel. After this day, all I did was drop acid on the very rare occasion, and I'm talking like very rare occasion after this, and completely cold turkey all the hard shit I was doing, like ketamine, coke, all that shit, just cold turkey it. So, you know, basically how this played out, this was in April of 2016, and this was, like I mentioned earlier, after the first trip I had that was fairly similar to this. And, you know, I already kind of had in my mindset, like, yeah, you know, I probably need to stop doing drugs, or, like, doing hard drugs at least. I mean, I need to tone it down and scale it back a bit, because, you know, in that trip prior to this one that was similar to this one, I just kind of sat and thought about the effects of all the hard shit I was doing, and, like, really what is the benefit and why am I doing it. And this trip was kind of more information for me. You know, one of the things that I seem to not be able to resist when I'm tripping is like information. Like for some reason, when I'm tripping and I'm alone and like I'm just chilling at home, I get in this certain mindset sometimes where I'm just like, I want to learn. Like, let's go watch some documentaries right now. You know, and I'm like that even when I'm sober. Like sometimes I just get like that. But, you know, this particular trip was really impactful on me.
Kid's already at
And
100. I just got
basically what
past my
happened was I
first
dropped
gun.
2 tabs. They were supposedly double dose. I believe they were because they were pretty strong. I think they were, I want to say 160 UG, just about. It was either 150 or 160. They were some really nice tabs I got from my buddy Ashton. And I went home that night. And a lot of my trips, you know, normally I start them when I'm out with people, and then I'll come home and still be tripping. This one was different. This one I dropped alone and tripped the entirety of it alone. You know, I wasn't with any people, and I'd done this before, but you know, most of the time I would just dick around and smoke a bunch of weed and not do anything. You know, this trip I was like, okay, I wanna like try to, you know, really get something out of this one. You know, like I was in that mindset. I was just like, all right, let's do this. So I popped my 2 tabs around like
I shanked him.
9:30
I shanked
p.m.
him.
And this was luckily on a weekend. Thank God this wasn't on a school night. This was a Saturday night. And I remember I dropped my 2 tabs, and it starts off like all my trips that I have alone do. You know, I'm sitting at my computer just browsing the internet, playing some games, playing League, playing Counter-Strike, whatever the hell I was doing. And, you know, I want to say like maybe 45 minutes to an hour after I dropped,
I'm gonna go
it hit
hop in the
me.
shower.
You know, and it hit me prior to that,
smoke
but it's
some
like a
flower.
really subtle come up.
And
And then I just got hit, you know, and it was like, I was experienced with psychedelics at this point, so it wasn't like I was overwhelmed, but it was like, holy shit, these are some great tabs, you know, like I was just sitting there looking at my computer, and by the time it hit me, I'd luckily finished the game of League I was playing, so I was just kind of like looking at my desktop and just like browsing YouTube and like Live Leak and all that shit, and I just kind of felt this like, I don't even know how to put it, just this weight being lifted out of my skull. Like it felt like my brain got lifted out of my skull almost. Like it was mentally still there, but like physically my head was just really light, you know, and I just felt really like, not tingly, just kind of like really like warm-ish. It's such a weird feeling. Like I can't even begin to explain it to you guys. It was a really weird night. So, you know, anyways, I start coming up, I start feeling it, I'm starting to get the visuals as time progresses.
I swear if I got
I'm starting
shanked.
to see colors way more vibrantly, things are kind of slightly distorted, but not like super intensely, just like, and maybe they weren't even distorted, I was just thinking they were, you know, but either way, like, I would look at my monitor and be like, why is the fucking corner so big, or some shit like that, you know, and I had this dope-ass, like, rainbow RGB keyboard. It was like a Razer something. I don't remember what it was. And I just stared at it for like 20 fucking minutes. And, you know, most of the time what I'll do is as soon as I start to come up on a trip, I'll give it about an hour after I, like, really start to feel it. And then I'll smoke a fat blunt or I'll smoke a bowl or something. This trip was a little different. Yes, I did smoke, but it was later on into the trip. So, you know, I was sitting there looking at my keyboard, just looking at the desktop, kind of like just letting it embrace me, just letting the trip take me, I guess, you know. Most of the time I would try to be in control of my trips, you know, I'd try to like sit there and really like give it my all to be in complete control and like do everything how I want it to be done. And this time I was just like, fuck it, dude. All I know is I wanna see some cool shit. I wanna learn some cool shit. So fuck it. I'm just gonna let the acid do its thing.
What's happening?
So,
Why can't
I started browsing YouTube a little bit, and that like all over my homepage on YouTube is like recommended videos like those National Geographic documentaries and like the Vice.
You dick-licking little
and all
whore.
that
You're a
shit.
dick. You're a worthless piece of crap. You deserve to die slowly while your
Even
parents
now,
watching
you know, when
agony.
I'm sober, I still watch those. I fucking love like. Lately, I've been watching
can't.
the like National Geographic
can't.
like prison
I
life
just can't get a kill.
documentaries because I find them interesting. Because like to see how a motherfucker copes with like knowing he's locked up for 30 years. Like I'd fucking end my life. But anyways, you know, I start looking at a bunch of different, you know, recommended videos, and I first started off watching some completely irrelevant shit. I was watching like Martin Shkreli documentaries. For those of you guys who don't know who that is, he's he's big in the pharmaceutical industry. I probably just butchered that word, pharmaceutical. I don't know how to say it. And he's just known for being like the Hitler of AIDS medicine, I think it was.
How, you dick-licking little whore. Little fucking whore.
Either way, you know, he's basically just a dickhead. So I watched a documentary on him, and I've watched it before. I actually watched it like while I was tripping for the first time, and I only ever watched this when I was tripping, never when I was sober. And after this, you know, I kind of moved on, clicking through random videos, and I got to those Vice drug documentaries. Like if you see the, you know, if you guys go on Vice and you see like the, you know, the how to sell drugs video on Vice, that's a huge one. There's they have a bunch of different shit, like that one about that crazy drug that like lets you hypnotize people. And then in the recommended of those, there's like those National Geographic documentaries on like heroin and coke and all that shit. You know, I started watching a bunch of drug videos, and I don't really know what compelled me to do it. You know, it could have been a result of the previous trip I had that made me kind of want to slow down with those, that made this pique my curiosity, but I dove into it. I spent hours just watching drug videos, just on end, documentaries on drug users, facts about drugs. I was learning more during this trip about the drugs I was doing than I ever did when I was doing them. You know, outside of acid, of course. Like, I learned more about the effects that coke can have on me and Molly can have on me during this trip and just watching these videos and learning than I ever did actually doing the drug. Because the thing is, when I was doing it, I never gave a fuck. I didn't ask what this would do to me. I didn't ask what the side effects were. I fucking popped that shit, dude. I didn't care. And this kind of altered my perspective. You know, I was sitting there and learning, and like, at the time, you know, call me an idiot, but I didn't know coke was really that bad for you. And for those of you who don't know, it's fucking horrible for you. It's horrid for your body. Cocaine's awful for you. But at the time, I didn't think it was that bad. I just thought, like, it's addictive. You know, I didn't really know shit about it. And I'm watching these documentaries on, like, coke and crack and, you know, all this shit. And I'm tripping my ass off as well. But, like, at the same time, even though I couldn't really, like... It's weird how I, like, interpreted all the information I was getting. Like, I couldn't necessarily think super clearly because my mind was just kind of tunnel visioned onto, like, one very specific thing, and that thing happened to be these drug videos. But, you know, when I would try to think past exactly what was being said or, like, what was on the screen, I would just lose track of my mind. You know, like, I would just lose track of it. So, you know, I just sat there watching all these videos and just taking in all the info. I did this for like 3 hours, and you know, about halfway through the session, I paused the video.
I can't do anything.
And I rolled up
these
one,
controller
and I was sitting in my room in my mom's house, and I would always smoke in there. I would always smoke in my mom's room, even though I knew she would smell it. Or not my mom's room, in my room at my mom's house, even though I knew she would smell it because our house was super small. It was a condo, and there's just no way she wouldn't smell it. You know, but I didn't care. I would just tuck t-shirts under the door and smoke a fat fucking blunt. I didn't even bother to open the window. So, you know, I roll up my blunt somehow. You know, I thought I was like really pro at rolling when I was on acid. And I remember one time I rolled up some extra blunts for the next day when I was tripping, as I was like about to go do something else, and I forgot about them for the next day, and I opened them up, and they were just the loosest fucking dookie blunts ever. But anyways, back on topic. So, you know, I roll up this blunt, I spark it, I'm smacking it, hit play on the video again. You know, I didn't want to, like, miss any of the video, because like I mentioned earlier, I was, like, super tunnel vision. So, like, if I wanted to roll a blunt, I couldn't watch a video at the same time. Like, I had to stare at this fucking blunt and perfect it, you know? So, I started smoking, you know, I smacked my blunt. I rolled up maybe, like, a gram and a half. It was a decently fat blunt. And I'm continuing the documentary, and I remember the one I was watching at this point wasn't a Vice one. It was a National Geographic one, and I believe it was about, like, heroin and, like, opiate users and shit. And this didn't even apply to me because I didn't do heroin. But deep down, I always had this fear that I was going to one day. You know, like, on some real shit, I was always scared I was going to become a heroin junkie, you know? Because, like, when I first started doing drugs, I never, you know, I told myself, I'm just going to smoke weed and drink. Never going to do shit. Then I smoked crack. Then I did coke. And then I did Xans. Then I did oxys. Then I did hydros. Then I did K. Then I did triple Cs. You know, the list goes on. So, you know, I kind of, after that list started to build up of the drugs I'd done that I said I wouldn't, I was pretty fucking scared that, like, one day some scenario was going to play out where I would try heroin and fucking full blown just be into that shit. You know, I was always spooked. So I was watching it, and this documentary, you know, as I was smoking this blunt and as I finished, I was just sitting there, and it was just like some real high motherfucker shit. Like, I was just sitting there staring at the screen, like, wide-eyed, you know, just thinking, damn. You know, just thinking, like, fuck, dude, this is shitty. Like, it showed these just terribly, like, horribly unhealthy people sitting in, like, a motel bathroom shooting up dope, fucking just doing disgusting things for money. You know, just a fucked-ass life I didn't want to live. And I was sitting there and I was like, well, I don't really do heroin now. But
I don't really do heroin now.
I don't know if I would one day. You know, like, I didn't have the self-control with drugs to, like, not do that. You know, like, I mean, I'd been offered it, or I hadn't been offered it, but if I asked for it, I could have gotten it, and luckily I didn't. But I feel like if I was fucked up enough on something and someone offered it to me while I was fucked up, I would take it. You know, honestly, not anymore, but at the time, yeah. Yeah, I honestly think I would have taken it. So, you know, I'm watching this, and I'm just thinking, like, damn, dude, all the shit I'm doing right now is leading me to this. Like, and I'm listening to their stories, and the interviewer, you know, the narrator, or whatever he was asking them, like, oh, so how'd you start? When did you start? You know, what did you do? And they started naming off all these drugs, and I was like, holy fuck, dude, I've done, like, a scary amount of these drugs that these people said they did that led them to heroin. So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, uh-oh, this isn't good. So, you know, I'm still just staring at this fucking video, and, you know, I put my blunt out, I'm just watching it. It was a long one. I think it was, like, I don't remember if it was 45 minutes or, like, 29 minutes or some odd amount of time. It was in that range, though, I believe. And, you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm just tripping sack, but, like, I'm also just taking in all this info, and finally that video ends. You know, some more time goes by, I'm watching some more, and I finally run out of videos I want to watch, you know, and I didn't even realize how much time I'd spent doing it. You know, hours had gone by. It was like 1 in the morning, 1:30, and I dropped at like 9:30. So I was like, holy shit. So I went and laid on my bed, and I just laid there. I didn't do anything. I didn't look on my phone. I didn't roll up another blunt. I didn't do anything. I just laid on my bed, you know, and I just kind of sat there. Because after seeing all those videos and taking in all that info, I was like, well, fuck, dude, I kind of want to, like, comprehend this. So I laid there, just stared at my ceiling.
I was close.
And I remember, you know, I was thinking and
Must
trying to, like,
kids on 19
almost, like, talk to myself. I'm pretty sure I was, like, literally talking to myself, you know? Like, I was just laying there thinking. And, like, my thoughts were just overflowing. There was so much shit going through my head that was all related to, like, drugs. And I closed my eyes. I remember this part really well. I closed my eyes. And it wasn't what I saw, you know? It wasn't... I didn't see anything that was super crazy, you know? Just, like, kind of... I don't even know how to explain it. Just the normal, like... It's so hard to explain what you see when your eyes are closed when you're tripping. But, like... The best way to describe it is just kind of like a very faint galaxy. But not really. Like, it's weird. It's like a bunch of little stars scattered around, you know, in close your eyes. And it wasn't what I saw, it was what I thought, you know? Because after I closed my eyes, it was like... My senses, when my eyes were open, I was looking around, like, were just being overloaded. Because I was just tripping. Everything was colorful, everything was, like, bright. And once I closed my eyes, you know, it kind of cleared my head a little more, and I was able to think. And I laid there like that for like 30 minutes, and I just thought. And the conclusion I came to after running through all my thoughts in my head and everything I possibly wanted to, like, run through while I was tripping was fuck all this drug shit. Fuck all these harder things. I need my weed, and I need my acid, and fuck everything else, you know? And that was kind of...
You still do coke.
That was like the little conclusion I drew in my head. At the time, you know, I was just... After I thought that, I remember sitting there, and I was just like, I'm tripping balls right now if I think I'm not doing all that shit again. You know, like, I was like, my God, dude, this is some great acid if it's making me think I'm not doing K again. Like, what the fuck? And I remember the rest of the trip was pretty normal, you know. After this component of the trip, I just went back to doing my thing, the normal thing, you know, playing games, you know, smoking. I think I packed a bowl and ripped another bowl. I didn't smoke that much that night. Just smoked a blunt and, like, maybe a bowl or two. And, you know, I smoked some bowls. I watched some more random YouTube videos, like comedy videos, funny shit. You know, I watched some Netflix, I'm pretty sure. I fucking wish I was into The Office when I was tripping, because I feel like The Office would be golden when you're tripping. I don't know, dude. It's too late now. It's too late now. Oh, it's because of Netflix. Anyways, so, you know, I was back to my usual thing, just, you know, watching random YouTube videos, random Netflix stuff. I'm always watching something when I trip. You know, if I'm alone, I'm always watching or playing something. So, you know, the rest of the trip isn't really anything substantial. Like, I just did that, and then just, as I was coming down, I just laid in bed, let myself relax as slowly as I could, you know, just kind of fell asleep eventually. And a lot of people say, like, oh, you can't sleep when you're coming down off acid. You really can. You know, there's a little tip. What I do, weed helps me with it, or, you personally on the come down, like on the very end part of the come down. Like I'm talking like 10 or 11 hours into the trip, you know, like lay in bed, turn all your lights out, turn a fan on. If there's like a digital clock or something, turn it off, get all sources of light out of that fucking room. The only source of light you should have is if you're smoking, you know, light your bowl, that's all you need, and just lay down. Just lay down, close your eyes, and think you can't fall asleep, and eventually you'll knock out. It might take a while, but it won't seem like a while, because if you can't fall asleep yet, you're probably still tripping, so it won't seem like a while. But that's my little advice. But anyways, I just kind of laid down, went through my little procedure of falling asleep on the come down, and knocked out, you know. And the next day came around, and you know, typically I would, at that point I was kind of at the peak of my K use, you know. That was like, well, no, actually the peak was definitely in March. This was April. I was slowing down a little bit, but after this it wasn't even like I went out of my way, or it was difficult for me to not do these harder these harder drugs. I was doing like K and Coke and Molly and all that shit. You know, it's more like the thought just never even crossed my mind after this. You know, it really didn't. Like normally I'd go to school, I'd be fiending for K. You know, I'd hit up my boy Ashton and be like, yo, meet me in the bathroom, sit in the stall next to me, I'll slide the bread under, you chop it up, put it on the microwave. I was like, alright. Yeah, that's typically how we do it. But this particular day, and every day following this, I just lost the urge, you know. And I remember the next time I went to school, because this was a Saturday when I did this trip, and you know, Sunday came around, didn't do shit, and Monday rolled around, went to school. I remember Ashton was like, yo, you gonna need any K anytime soon? I just said no, you know, I didn't even explain it. I was just like, nah, dude. And he's just like, oh. He's like, are you done doing it? And I was just like, I guess, yeah. And he's just like, oh, good shit, dude. It's horrible for you. Don't fucking do it, you know? Because I remember he used to tell me how he had K pains from railing too much K, and that's kind of where K causes a lot of bladder problems. So, yeah, you get a lot of like pain in his like groin and shit from railing K, and the only way to fix it for him was doing more K. But anyways, you know, I just kind of, the thought never really crossed my mind to do a lot of that harder shit. Like hydros sounded disgusting to me. I was well beyond the triple C's phase at this point. You know, well, pretty well beyond it. I never did them after this. Still haven't done them since then. K, after this day, I only did once, and it was some bunk-ass K. I don't even think it was K. I'll get to that in another video, but, you know, I don't even think it was K, and outside of acid and weed, the only other thing I did during that entire time was drink at a party. You know, a couple parties here and there. That's all I did, and I wish I had a better explanation as to, like, what exactly caused me to stop, but, like, I don't. It just happened. So, yeah, that's really all I've got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. New video tomorrow, boys. Tomorrow, boys. And I'm not talking like, yeah, I'll record it tonight. I'm talking like it's already fucking unlisted, boys. We gone. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
This one Tim Dillon, I don't know if Tim Dillon, but he's one of my favorite podcasts, and he asked me months ago, like, he's my favorite podcast. He asked me, like, yo, can you please come on the podcast? I'm like, no, because I'm not the best talker, and I feel like I may or not may.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a Hoot. This is a classic, dude. This is one that I've been hanging on to for a long time. And listen, man, consider this a late Christmas gift, you know, maybe an early New Year's Hoot, if you will. But it's something special.
I just got no
You guys are
scope.
gonna want to listen to this one. Drop a like if you guys do enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for 300K, bro. We killed it. I actually got 300K for Christmas, dude. St. Nicholas pulled up on me, bro. Thank you guys so much for the love, dude. It feels amazing. Like, it's truly awesome to have this many subs, you know. It feels very surreal. I'm not going to sit here and ramble about it for the whole video. Thank you guys so much for the love, dude. I appreciate it. Hey, if all 300,000 of y'all bought merch, I'd be living on an island right now, man. Hey, check out the merch drop at the top of the description, baby. Get your hands on some beautiful, fine, high-quality Goblin merch today. If you recognize someone else in public wearing this merch, instantly, you've made a new friend. You've got someone to sesh with. This is the ultimate way to connect with crackheads, dude. Get your hands on Goblin merch today. you're just not going to regret it whatsoever, man. DM me pictures of your merch purchases, you know, whether you got them on or whatever, and I'll show some love, man. I appreciate you guys. Let's dive right into the video. So, this took place a very long time ago, back in 2016 during my junior year of high school. And, man, dude, it's crazy to think, bro. I was like, I think it was what, 7? I just turned 17 during this, and I turned 22 this Saturday, dude. It's kind of fucked, dude. I'm an ancient dude. My last good birthday was 21. Now none of the birthdays they're not relevant anymore, dude. It's just I'm withering away now. I'm just dying. That's all that happens every birthday. But either way, so back on topic here. This took place back in my junior year of high school. And this started off as a pretty standard day. You know, I remember it was a weekend, and I'd gotten a ride home, and Ashton rode home with me, which is a pretty common thing, right? Ashton isn't around for the entirety of this story. He's just here for the beginning, right? But he got a ride home with me because we decided that we wanted to kick it at my place for a little bit. My mom was going to be at work until later in the evening, and Ashton didn't really have shit to do for a couple hours. So we were like, fuck it, dude. Just hang out at my place. Maybe you could serve some people. You know, we'll chill out. We'll have a hoot, you know? So we're kicking it at my house. We're sitting at my dining room table, just kind of chatting it up. You know, we're on our phones, and we're doing a little bit of K, right? I remember I'd only did like a couple bumps. You know, as soon as we got there, we kind of, Ashton almost immediately busted out his head and gave me a bump. And we just chilled out, listened to some music, and we were kind of scrolling through social media, dude. And back then, those were the days when you could just scroll through Vine for ages and other apps like that, dude. Now, I mean, nowadays you got TikTok, but dude, we went through some dark times where, like, from what, like 2017 to like 2019, we just had nothing, dude. Now TikTok's decent, you know, but hey, I mean, it's still not as good as Vine. But back then, dude, you could just we're fucking around on our phones, presumably on Vine, because that's what everyone's doing. And we're chilling out, having a hoot. And eventually, my buddy Jimmy hits me. Jimmy was actually in my first time taking acid story for those of you guys who have seen that. I don't remember what name I gave him in that, so we're just going to call him Jimmy in this one. I think it was something similar, though. But Jimmy is a very long-time friend of mine, and it was his house that I took acid at for the first time. Kind of a similar scenario playing out here where his parents were gone for the weekend, right? But Jimmy hits me up on Snapchat, and he's like, yo, dude, what you on this weekend? You know, my parents left. Like, let's hang out, right? It's been a little while. I was like, yo, dude, I'm chilling at my house with Ashton right now. Like, come through, dude. Come hang out. Let's smoke or something. So, of course, Jimmy, he walks over, and he lives literally across the street. Like, I'm talking, it was like a 5-minute walk, tops, you know, from his house to mine. Like, you cross an intersection and bam, you're just basically at my crib, right? So, he walks over to my house, and he gets there, and he walks on in, and this guy's just lit already, bro. This guy is busting already. I could tell he's fucked up. And I asked what he took, and he was like, oh, dude, I took a bar earlier, dude. Like, I'm feeling pretty decent. And he actually had, I believe he had a prescription. I don't know if it was, I think he briefly had a prescription, but he lost it pretty quickly because his parents figured out he was abusing it. But there was a time where he had a pretty strong Xan script, right? So this guy was just lit on these things 24/7. But he shows up, and I dap him up. It's great to see him. You know, I've been tight with Jimmy since literally preschool. Like, we actually went to the same preschool together. This is the true day one homie, right? Got dap him up, you know, we're chilling. I bring him on in, and we're all having a hoot. It's him, me, you know, myself, and Ashton, and we're all chilling out. We go back out to the balcony out back of my house, right? There's a little, like, I live in a second-story condo, where I used to, right? So there's a little balcony that we'd all go smoke on, a little deck, right? We walk out there, and it's cold as fuck, dude. It is not nice out, bro. It was snowy, but it was like that murky, kind of slippery snow where it's like water. Dude, it was horrible, bro. Bad conditions. But we went out there to smoke, right? We spent our time at the dining room table rolling up a little bit. Now we went out there, and Jimmy and I were smoking, you know? Ashton obviously couldn't smoke. You know, that guy smoked like once a month because of probation. But Jimmy and I were chilling. Ashton was K'd up. I was still feeling that bump a little bit, but I didn't do nearly as much as he did. And Jimmy's just chilling, you know? He's barred out. And Ashton mentioned, you know, he looks over to Jimmy and he's like, yo, dude, you looking to grab anything off me? Jimmy's like, well, what do you got? Ashton busts out these beautiful tabs, dude. This guy had, like, he out of his pocket just pulled, like, 40 fucking tabs out. And he pulls these shits out and he lays them on the table and he's like, dude, like, these are fire. You know?
They just suck on my dick
was a
already.
Common shopper with Ashton, right? In particular, his acid. You know, Jimmy, he was a kind of guy who, listen, he probably shouldn't have done acid. Like, it was a 50-50 as to whether he'd have a bad trip or a good trip, because he was kind of cuckoo in the head, you know? But either way, love buying from him. He loved the drug either way. So he's like, yo, dude, I got like 20 bucks on me. I'm trying to get some. And I see this Ashton, and Ashton hadn't even mentioned it to me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how the fuck, like, how many drugs does this guy have on him where he doesn't even mention the 40 tabs in his pocket, bro? Like, he's already pulled out ketamine. Now he's got fucking, like, half a sheet of acid. Like, dude, what else does this guy have on him, you know? And I'm sitting there, and I got 20 bucks in my pocket. And I'm like, Jimmy, dude, let me throw with you. I'm trying to grab some, too. So he's like, all right, you know, you guys got 40 bucks. He's like, I'll do you guys a real solid. I'll hook you up. Ashton was always the boy, dude. This guy would give prices that I've never had another club with, dude. This guy would like break even serving me. Not literally, but like, he'd make wonderful deals. Right? So we threw our 20 bucks together, and he was like, I'll throw you guys a 10 strip for that, right? I'm like, say less, dude. This is some of the best acid I've ever done. Paying that price, count me in, dude. I wouldn't be cool paying double that, dude. Count me the fuck in, you know? Like, this shit's super gas. I'm excited, right? My boy. So, of course, I tap up Ash, and I'm like, dude, next time you can smoke, I owe you big. Or, like, next time I buy some K off you, you know? Like, I got you, right? Like, my man, you know, you're the boy. He's like, of course, you know, of course. That was just how he was. He was always just a good guy. So, he rips a little corner off of the giant piece of tin foil that he had on, and he put our 10 strip in there, right? He was kind enough to break it in half, so we had 2 little 5 strips, and Jimmy goes and takes it and puts it in his pocket, you know? And I'm like, all right, well, Jimmy, dude, let's trip at your crib tonight, dude. Like you said, your parents aren't coming, let's get lit, right? So I'm like, Ashton,
Gotta kill.
you gotta slide over tonight, you know? And Ashton's like, oh, you know, I mentioned earlier, like, I got shit to do, I gotta go in a little bit, you know, I probably can't spend the whole night over there, but, you know, I'll maybe come over there at first and then just go home from there, right? So I'm like, bet. Sounds wonderful, dude. Let's slide, right? So, Jimmy's house is literally across the street, right? Jimmy and I, you know, Jimmy's got his tabs in his pocket. We hop out the front door, you know, Ashton comes out behind us, and we walk on over there, right? We take a nice little stroll, and I'm still feeling pretty okay off the K. It was kind of, you know, wearing off at this point. I'd been bussing for a little, well, not bussing, but I've been feeling it for a little while. I've been off a bumpy or two for a little while. So we get over to Jimmy's house, and we're chilling there for a little bit. And as soon as we get there, I'm like, yo, dude, before we trip, let's pre-roll a couple blunts, right? Like, let's get this all situated. So we bust out our weed, we bust out our cigarettes, and we pre-roll. I think it was like 3 or 4.
This kid's a
we
faggot.
weren't balling. We didn't have a ton of weed, but we had enough to last for the trip, right? So we pre-rolled, well, let's go with like 4 blunts, right? 2 packs of blunts. That's more than likely what we did, you know? Because listen, 4 blunts is the perfect amount for a trip with 2 heads, right? Listen, you don't need 40 blunts. You're tripping. You're not going to be smoking the whole time. You're going to be staring at ceilings and shit, all right? 4 blunts.
Yeah, you gotta make time to stare at
right?
the ceiling,
So,
not just smoke
either way,
weed.
we get to Jimmy's
No, as
house.
long as you don't stab me, you can kill me. I'm fine with
and
it. Just
Ashton
don't
has to
stab
go.
me.
I probably got to head out. I'm going to get my Uber, right? So
You're
he calls
dick.
up an
You're a
Uber,
dick.
you know,
You're a
we're
dick-looking
chilling,
piece
and
of
he gets
crap.
his ride home. I dap him up, you know, Jimmy daps him up, we say goodbye, you know, we say see you later, which basically means see you tomorrow, because I kicked it with that kid like every day. And now the hoots begin, right? Now it's time to trip. So I pop a tab on my tongue, and Jimmy
You're a dick
takes his
looking
little
little whore.
5 strip, and he breaks off 3 tabs and puts them on his tongue. I'm like, you're fucking crazy. And he's like, dude, my parents aren't coming home until like Monday. Let's send it. You know, I'm like, okay, say less. So I take 2 more tabs and throw them on my tongue, right? I'm ready for the hoot. The games now begin, right? We've got these tabs down the hatch, and we're like, yo, let's go get stoned while we wait for the come up. We take our first blunt, we go out back, and Jimmy lived in a super nice house, right? A beautiful house. There was a clear distinction between, like, literally the intersection divided, like, the wealth level of this neighborhood, right? On my side of it was, like, your townhouses and your condos and stuff. Then you go across the intersection that he has to walk across to get to my crib, and it's just beautiful independent houses, no townhouses or anything, no condos, just beautiful houses with sunroofs, in-ground pools.
I shot the fag.
You know, the ones that have 2 different garage doors, that's how rich they are, you know? Nah, 2-car garage, no, that's not enough. We need another little 1-car garage door just to the right of them, just to let you know. We have 3 cars in here, maybe more. Like, dude, balling. So,
I shot him 8 times.
This guy's sunroom is lit, dude. There's like a TV hooked up in the top corner, dude. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful house to trip at, right? So we're sitting out back and we smoke this first blunt. We kill it pretty quick. And we get back inside and opt to play some games, right? he busts out his laptop and hands it to me. It's an ancient old laptop, but it's good enough to run League, right? So he's on his desktop, and I'm sitting on his laptop, laying on his bed, and we're playing League of Legends, right? We're having a hoot, dude. We're still waiting for the come
I get stuck on this
like
gun
30
every time.
minutes into this game. You know, League games are long as hell, or at least at this time they were. I don't really play anymore, so I think nowadays they're kind of shorter. But back in the day, dude, you could have an hour-long League game easily, no question, right? So we're chilling out. We're like maybe 20, 30 minutes into this game. We just smoked our blunt. And I started feeling the come up. I feel that electricity going through me, dude. That almost like tingling, like, oh, here we go, you know? It's like someone took you and wrapped like a rope around your waist and just dangled you, like slowly lifted you off the ground from a crane, you know? Like, as you know, just the higher up you get, you know, the bigger of like a tingling, like, oh shit, kind of butterfly feeling you get. It's lit, dude. I always struggle to describe the come up feeling. It's just so unique. It's so fun. But either way, we're hooting, dude. I'm feeling great. I'm starting to come up. And we finished this first game of League, and we get into the next one. We start up another one, and by the time we're like 10 minutes into the other one, I'm tripping balls, dude. I remember I'm trying to play the game, and I'm looking at the keyboard, but this old-ass laptop, half of the keys are like scratched off, right? This isn't no like RGB MSI gaming laptop. No, this is like a Toshiba, bro. There's like, dude, all the keys are getting scratched off, so I'm looking down, and I'm trying to identify what keys to press to attack these enemies, dude, and I'm fucking up, dude. I'm pressing all the wrong shit, and the keyboard's wiggling. It just looks like one big rectangle. Looks like just one big key by the time I'm done with this game, and I'm like, holy shit, dude. I ended up AFKing like half the game, same with Jason, or Jimmy, pardon me, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucked, right? This is terrible. So, I come to the realization that obviously we are not capable of playing this game. So I'm like, yo, dude, let's go do something else, right? So we leave his room, and we walk down a staircase, and bro, once we walk out of his room, the house, he lived in a very big, nice house, like I mentioned. Once you walk out of his room, you're on the second level, and you're down to the first level, and I'm just looking around, and everything's going on. Everything. It looks like the house ate me, and I'm in its stomach. Dude, I'm looking around, and I'm like, bro, every single object in this house is a living being. It's crazy as hell, you know?
I'm looking you in the eyes and shooting you in the head.
It almost felt like it was fluctuating in brightness. I almost felt this like it was just everything was almost glowing, you know, like it was getting really
I get shot once by someone else. I die. I hit 50 shots on one person. Has to be 8 headshots.
So we go downstairs, you know, we're chilling out, sitting on his couch watching TV, which is a classic pastime. You can just get sucked up for hours in TV when you're tripping, right? But eventually we're like, yo, dude, like, we need something to drink, right? And we realize there's nothing in his fridge. This guy, dude, his mom left him with fuck all. She left him with like a little bit of cash on him to order like a pizza, right? But we weren't hungry. We didn't want pizza, bro. We wanted like a nice ice cold beverage. We wanted like a soda or something, you know, like a Sprite with just smack at that very moment. So we're sitting there and we're like, dude, like, how are we gonna get a drink? You know, like we gotta get something to drink, dude. All they have here, like, all you got is like waters and like milk, dude. Like, this is I don't want to drink milk, dude. I'm on 3 tabs. This is fucked. We need some good bevies, you know. So we come to the conclusion, like, all right, we gotta navigate our way to McDonald's. And McDonald's is pretty close to Jimmy's house, right? McDonald's is like, dude, tops a 10-minute walk when you're sober. Tops. Like, that's if you're really taking a stroll, you're waving at the neighbors. It's close. So we're like, bet, dude, let's go walk up to McDonald's, get a soda, and we'll come home. And we think in our heads that this is a great plan. We're balls, but we're just like, dude, this is gonna work. You know, like, we want to get these, you know, so what? You know? And I wasn't really realizing just how hard I was tripping until we left his house, right? Like, I knew, but I still thought I could coherently navigate a neighborhood, right? As it was getting dark. No, dude, absolutely not. Right?
You're a fucking whore. You're a dick-looking piece of crap.
Right? And when you walk out of his house, you know, there's just big, bright, beautiful neighborhood. You know, a lot of cars going by. There's that main road intersection. And I remember we started off, and we went in the right direction, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident we started the right way. So I remember as soon as you walk out of his house, you have to turn right to go to McDonald's. And I remember us going right. I've been to this kid's house 100 million times. It's just like, I could literally describe every single house on this kid's block. We've been kicking it for like 20 years. But either way, so we turn right out of this kid's house, and we walk, right? We take a stroll, and we get up to the intersection. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm looking around. I'm loving the fresh air, bro. I'm loving it. There's just an ice cold breeze, but I don't care. I didn't even bring my coat. I wore one over, but I left it back at Jimmy's house, bro. I remember I should have been freezing, but I was feeling great, dude. I felt the warmth just pumping through my veins, dude. I was like, holy shit. I'm not even chilly. This is great. And it's got the wet snow on the ground. It's fucked. I didn't give a damn, dude. I was like, yo, I'm lit. So we cross the street, right? We wait until the coast is clear, and we run across the fucking street. And once I started sprinting, you know, as I'm moving quickly, combined with the tripping and all the movement already, I got overwhelmed, bro. I got really overwhelmed, and I got really nauseous. Like, once we got across the street, as soon as I stopped moving, like, it's almost like the blurring of colors didn't stop, or the blurring of objects didn't stop, you know? Like, you know when something's moving really fast, or when you're moving really fast, and you're in a car and everything around you is like a blur? It was like I was stuck like that
Horror.
after I stopped running. And I got really overwhelmed and nauseous, dude. And I sat down. I was like, oh, like, I think I'm...
It's not a gun to shoot
like,
with.
I'm really not feeling good. So I remember sitting down, and we're literally just sitting there on the corner, right off of Main House Road. Everyone's looking at us, dude. Everyone's driving past, probably looking like, what are these crackheads doing? There's even a couple people walking around in this area, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm just breathing. I'm trying to breathe slow. I'm like, you know? And one tactic I use whenever I feel, you know, uncomfortable or sick whenever I was tripping is I try really hard to focus on one object, right? That usually worked for me. But this time it didn't because there was way too much shit going on around me. And I was tripping way too hard. And I was overwhelmed.
You can't hit this. Like the sights on this gun don't fucking work. Like they just don't work. Straight on the whole time. Hit one bullet. One bullet out of 5.
You know, his ears are bigger than his eyes right now to me. You know, like, dude, I look up at the sky and I think I see
I'm looking him in the eyeball. I'm shooting him in his dick.
So I sat there for what felt like an eternity. But in reality, it was maybe like, I don't know, probably like 15 minutes or some shit. Not even, it's probably like 5 minutes. But it felt like forever.
I swear if I got sniped.
Finally, Jimmy's like, yo,
I mean,
bro, like,
knifed.
come on, let's keep going, man. Let's go, dude. And at this point, I don't even know if he remembers.
Suck on my cock. You are a worthless piece of crap. Not even that guy's fault. It's my gun. Finally.
Someone's backyard. Now on my side of the neighborhood. And, you know, these are all townhouses, so they don't have, like, actual fenced-in yards. So you just walk right through them. But, like, he's just walking through the grass, and it's all muddy and snowy. I'm like, bro, like, you're tweaking. Like, you're going crazy right now, you know? And we get lost really quickly. I could not fathom what Google Maps might do for me. So I'm like, dude, I don't know where the fuck we are, right? And we're kind of wandering around, and we get out of that backyard. We get back onto the main road. And on that main road, or along that main road, at the end of it, on one corner, there's a Walgreens, right? And it's got bright avenues. We see this Walgreens. You know, from the point of the backyard we cut out over there. We see this Walgreens. We didn't before, but now we do. And it's like a beacon. It's like heaven. The gates to heaven have opened. We must go. They're calling for us. So we're like, dude, let's go. Let's go to Walgreens, bro. Like, we see the sign, we see it. We're like, dude, we gotta get there, bro. We can go there. Let's go. It's way closer. I don't know why we didn't think of this to begin with, right? Like, Walgreens is literally a 2-minute walk. Why did we try to go to McDonald's? We're stupid and on 3 tabs. Who cares? Let's just go. So, we get over to this Walgreens, right? And we walk in there, and I remember it was literally, dude, it's so bright. The building is painted white. All the tiles in there are white. All the lights in there are bright white, dude. It literally felt like I had just died and walked into heaven. I was like, holy shit. Jesus forgave my sins, bro. Like, no way, dude. This is kind of pog, dude. This is sick. So, we walked back over to the drink section. I remember making just dead eye contact with every single person I walked past. Every person I walked past, I would just stare right at their face. And even if I walked past them, I would, like, look back at them because everyone's faces, I felt like they were staring at me. In reality, looking back at it now, I was definitely just some cracked out tweaker making everyone scared. But at the time, I was like, dude, these people just will not stop looking at me. Dude, like, bro, what? Like,
I got killed twice and I didn't even see anybody.
What is this? You know, like, what's going on here? So, me and Jimmy, we get back to the drink coolers and we grab our beverages. You know, we grab our... I don't really remember exactly what I grabbed, in all honesty. But I had a couple go...
You're a dick. You're a dick. You're a worthless piece of crap. I hope you die slowly while your parents watch. I'm going to knife that
been a
faggot.
Dr. Pepper, or C, an orange juice. But I honestly don't recall which one I grabbed. Dude, it's been like 4 years. I don't fucking know, dude. Who knows? But either way, we grabbed our beverages. Now here's the part I do remember.
What is happening?
So obviously, I'm uncomfortable, and I feel like...
Why would you knife me?
And And there's a line for me.
Why
There's
would you
only one
knife
cashier.
me?
I'm like, bro, like, I can't.
This faggot,
go
that
for
faggot
this.
seriously knifed me
So
twice.
Jimmy gets in line, right? Jimmy gets in line, and I'm like, bro, like, I'm uncomfortable. Like, people are staring at me. So I take my drink, and I go to the right of the cashier, and I just walk out the fucking door, bro. I just dip, dude. And I walk out, and I'm standing out there, and I didn't even consider the fact that I was stealing. I didn't even think twice about that. I didn't even, like, mean to steal. I was just trying to get the fuck out with my beverage, because I felt like everyone in there was about to, like, carve me up and eat me, dude. I was like, holy shit. Heaven is not what I expected. Gee, the angels hate me here. Like, I gotta go, you know? So, I get back out and I wait for Jimmy to come out, and Jimmy ended up just stealing too. He just fucking left, dude. No one came out after. I mean, it's a drink. Dude. No one's gonna come out, dude. I stole from that Walgreens all the time. Low key. There was one time I got caught stealing some fucked up shit. I got caught stealing like some condoms, dude, and like some triple C's and like some Poke. It was fucked up. That's it. So either way, back on topic. So I'm hooting and hollering. Jimmy walks back out, and now we gotta navigate back to his house. Well, luckily, we were at the Walgreens, which was a place that was kind of familiar. And from the Walgreens parking lot, you could see Jimmy's house, kind of. Like, it was a very direct shot. So we go back in the direction we came from. And at that point, you know, we're like, okay, we just did this. You know, at least I'm trying to, you know, kind of comfort myself.
He has nothing but a pistol. He's just rocking a pistol.
But every time I felt like I was getting my bearings, just something around me would distract me.
How?
Overwhelm me.
I have a shotgun.
And some dude drove past, on our way back, someone drove past and he honked. Presumably it's someone else, but we thought it was at us. And as soon as that guy honked, it was like natural instinct kicked in. We sprinted right back to his house, like we knew the route the whole time. We flew back to his house. I remember Jimmy just started running, and I ran after him, and I saw him, and I was just following him. I was like, dude, holy fuck. And once again, all the colors around me are getting blurry. Everything's getting crazy. I get overwhelmed. But I didn't really get nauseous. You know, I handled it a lot better this time, right? I think it was just the initial trip. I don't know what it was. Maybe the taps were really hard, but dude, I was tripping too hard when I first came up. I was like, holy shit, I'm fucked right now. But it was still a fun-ass trip. We run back to Jimmy's house, and now we're hooting and hollering. We got our beverages, dude. We're good to go. We out to smoke another blunt. We go out back to the sun.
You're a faggot. You're a faggot. You're a dick-looking piece of crap. Hope you fucking die slowly while your parents watch. Faggot.
So we go stand on his front porch instead, you know, with all the lights. And we're chilling out there, you know, we're hooting, we're hollering, we're having a blast. It's a fine old time, right? And we smoked this blunt, and I just remember tripping even harder as soon as we smacked this blunt. And we spent basically the rest of the evening just staring at walls, watching shit like King of the Hill, and playing League of Legends. It was honestly one of the most fun, but like basic trips ever. It was a hoot. But hey, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this long-ass video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to cop some merch and sub if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, gamers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a goddamn banger, talking about a smoke sesh that went very, very wrong. And believe me, this is just a hoot and a holler of a story. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. Also, thank you guys, all the new subscribers that have been coming in lately, all the new viewers, and just everyone supporting my videos. Thank you guys so much. You know, all my videos lately have been doing great. They're finally getting monetized again. YouTube has kind of stopped fucking me and kicking me down and all that, so it's been really nice. And yeah, just thanks everybody for the support. And either way, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, smoke sesh gone wrong. Now, this was supposed to be a very good day. I want to start off by saying that. And on this particular day, you know, I hit up my boy Bobby. He's been a character in some of my older stories. I've made quite a few, I think 3 or 4 videos with him in the commentary. You guys have been around for a little while and you've seen those. And you know, I hit up my boy Bobby, and I'm like, yo, what you want? What's the plan? What's the move? And he's like, yo, why don't we link up? You come pick me and
what have I
this
done
other
wrong
guy we're going to call Ernie.
I hit
me and Ernie up, and we can go grab some lunch, smoke some weed, have a good time. So I'm like, all right.
I swear I hit every 5 shots.
Y'all up in a minute. So, you know, I get ready. I hop in my car. I drive over there, and I pick them 2 up. And you know, I haven't seen these guys in a while. At this point, I hadn't hung out with Bobby in months, and Ernie, I couldn't even recall the last time I saw this guy, so it would have been a while, you know, and these were the boys. So I hop in my car, shake up, I'm like, oh, what's good, boys? You know, it's been a minute. How you guys been? We're catching up, we're chatting. We stop at the liquor store, we end up picking up, I think,
what am I doing wrong?
What
am I doing wrong?
It was about to be a real saucy night, and after that, we had weed, we had blunts, we just had to figure out a spot to smoke. So we decided we were just going to roll a blunt and cruise it in my car. So, we go to some unincorporated neighborhood, and for those of you guys who are smokers who don't like smoking in your house, you know that those unincorporated neighborhoods are 99% of the time the wave. They're the spot. They're the place to be all the time. They are just the absolute shit because they're just big and empty. They have a lot of space between everything, and no cops or people ever go there. So either way, we roll the windows down. I open the sunroof of my car. We spark up a blunt, and excuse my dog back there shaking around and all that. But either way, Ernie can't smoke. He's on probation, so me and Bobby are just smoking this big fat blunt that we rolled. We're getting nice and cooked, getting ready to go have some good lunch, and we're trying to decide where we want to go to eat as we're rolling, smoking this blunt, rolling through the neighborhood. So we're talking, we're like, all right, we could go get, some Chinese, we could get like hibachi, whatever we want to do. We decided on hibachi, so what we ended up doing, please go lay down, dickhead. All right, let's hope he listens, but either way, what ended up happening was we finished off the blunt and we drove over to grab some hibachi. So we drove maybe 20 minutes away to this really, really good place, and they have the most banging sushi ever. I'll say that now. All their food's banging, but the sushi in particular. And for those of you guys who don't know what hibachi is, it's like that shit where you have the chef, and it's typically Asian food. It's almost always Asian food, but you have the chef who like cooks on the big burner in front of you, and you're sitting at the table, and he does the tricks with the big flames and all that cool shit. But either way, we go to this hibachi place, and if you go before 3 p.m., they have like $12 sushi, or they have like $12 like lunch combos, right? So it's really cheap, and it's fire. So we sit down, it's me, Ernie, and Bobby, and we're just chatting. We order some sushi as like an appetizer. We all get the same thing. We get the like chicken fried rice, hibachi with like steak or whatever, and it was fire, of course. And as we're sitting there, we're talking about like politics and shit. And Ernie's like, Nick, you're not a fucking liberal, right? And I was like, no. And he's like, good, I fucking hate those pussies. And sitting across from us at the table, because at this table there was like 8 chairs, and they were gonna sit another group with us, was this family with this mom who, I kid you not, was probably like the textbook definition of like liberal. Like you look at her and you just think like, wow, she really likes Antifa, like that's what crosses your mind. And then this like dad who just looked really sad, these 2 little kids, and the mom shoots us the dirtiest look, because Ernie said this loud as he could. He was like, good, I hate those fucking pussies. And she just glances at us and gives us this stank eye, this dirty fucking look. And I knew like, oh, we just hurt her feelings. Like, oh, I'm surprised she didn't unleash her inner wrath on us and just go off on us. But luckily she contained her wrath, so props to her. But either way, we finish eating, we go back to my car. I'm still trying to find like a spot to go. We don't really know what to do, so we drive over to the skate park, and we were just gonna hang out at the skate park, maybe smoke another blunt. The skate park is kind of like, when you have nowhere to go, it's like the spot that sometimes is good to smoke at. Like sometimes police go there and you can really fuck, or park up there and watch people, but the time of day, the day of the week to go, then you're set. And this was the perfect time of day and the perfect day of the week, I'll tell you that much. So we go to the skate park. We've been smoking another blunt, we're chilling, we see people we know there. It's kind of like, everybody just is there. Like, if you go to the skate park, like, you'll know at least, like, 2 or 3 people there, Like, I don't even skate. I suck, I can't even stand up straight on a skateboard while it's moving. Like, I'm not coordinated at all, but I still go there just to hang out, Like, you don't necessarily have to skate. You can just kind of go there to be there, But either way, I'm hanging out, I'm talking to people, we're smoking another blunt, we rolled up, it's all going well. And there's another buddy there who we're going to call, what are we going to call him? We're going to call him Marty. Now, Marty is a guy who, I don't think he's been in any of these stories that I've ever made on the channel, maybe 1 or 2, but, Marty's a guy who, he kind of comes and goes, he like shows up, I don't have his number, I don't have any of his contact info, but he just kind of comes and goes. So, I shake up with Marty, I'm like, yo, what's good, it's been a minute, we're catching up, we're talking. I'm just like filled with nostalgia. I'm just seeing people I haven't seen in ages. It feels like I'm back in like sophomore year of high school with the boys. It's like, I don't know, man. It was a good day. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And finally, we find, this girl who we're going to call Lauren has, OC. And her parents aren't going to be home. We can go to her house. She said we can smoke inside, we can drink, we can make food, whatever the fuck we want to do. So now, at this point, we just needed a ride because we wanted to drink, and I didn't want to, like, get really smashed and drive, So we had a lot of beer, but we needed a ride. So we hit up this girl who we're going to call Emily. And Emily was
she was like a good Uber, you know? Like, if you let her smoke the blunt, she'd take you anywhere. She would do a cross-country road trip if you let her hit a blunt. So, you know, she's like, we hit her up. She's like, yeah, I'll come pick you guys up if I can come through with you guys. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. So she's like, all right, I'll be there in like 30. I just got off work. So she's on the way. So we go back to my car. We bust out the beers. We had some Guinnesses. We had some Heinekens. And we had, what was the last thing we had? I think we had like, oh man, I want to say it was like Coronas maybe. I don't really know. We had 3 different kinds of beer, but they were all really, you know, really good. I'm a Heineken kind of guy in particular, you know. I don't know, something about Heineken just gets me. But either way, you know, I'm smacking on the Heineken. We're all having a good time at the skate park, waiting on the ride to come. And finally, Emily pulls up. At this point, I may be 2 beers in. You know, I didn't drink a ton. I was kind of trying to take it slow because I had the whole night ahead of me. But, you know, I was feeling all right. So we go back to my car, grab all the full cases of beer, damn near full cases of beer, bring them over to Emily's car, hop in, and we're all chilling in there. We got the bud, we got the blunts, we got everything. And we go over to Lauren's house. Now, Lauren is, once again, kind of similar to, you know, what was his name? I think Marty's what I called him. Kind of similar to Marty. Lori's one of those people who, like, she just kind of appears. Like, I never hang out with her directly. I never know that I'm going to be hanging out with her when I do. Like, no one ever tells me, like, oh, yeah, we're going to Lauren's house. Like, it just happens spontaneously. But, it's happened so many times. Like, I know her pretty well, but it just, I don't know, man. It's weird. So, either way, we end up at Lauren's house. I'm like, hey, what's good? She's like, hey, you know, we go inside, we get situated, bust the beers on the counter, and it's just, it's a hoot and a holler. It's shaping up to be a really good night. You know, we situate ourselves, you know, we're rolling up some blunts in her bedroom, we're smoking blunts in her bedroom, listening to music, shotgunning beers, drinking beers. It's just all around just a phenomenal evening. I'm getting pretty drunk as the night goes on, and, you know, I'm not getting too detailed with just the smoking and drinking, because, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, we just kind of hung out in either bedroom or kitchen, smoked a bunch of weed, and drank, and, you know, eventually, as the night went on, we had ran out of weed. You know, we'd been pretty drunk at this point. We'd made some food already. We had some cash on us, and we wanted to smoke some more fucking weed. And we were desperate. So we hit up this guy who we're going to call Chad. And Chad is, I don't know, I mean, it's just all these people on this particular night who I, like, never really see for some reason decided to show up. Chad, once again, similar to Lauren and Mikey, or what was his name? I think I called him Marty? Yeah, Marty. Similar to Marty and Lauren, you know, Chad's a guy who just appears. I've never had his contact info in my entire fucking life, but he's a plug. And, you know, he's like, yeah, I got some loud. And we don't know who Chad's with because he doesn't have a car. And he's like, yeah, I'm mobile. I'll come to you guys. So we didn't think shit of it. We're just like, oh, we're going to get some weed. And, you know, he's like, yeah, I'll be there in like 20. So we're all waiting on him to come. We're cracking open a few more beers. We've got a nice amount cleared so far because there was a good amount of people there, and the girls didn't really drink too much, but, you know, me and Bobby are very experienced alcoholics, chronic alcoholics at that, so it was no problem for us to just clear out that case. Same with Ernie. You know, Ernie's a big drinker too, but either way, Ernie, you know, so Chad finally pulls up, and Chad's with a guy who, what are we going to call this guy? We have Marty and we have Mikey. We're going to call this guy Mikey. So Chad is with Mikey, and Mikey, you know, is a guy who I'm cool with. Pretty much everybody there was cool with, except Marty. Marty and Mikey had beef, okay? And what was going on between them, I'm not really sure, but it was over a female. That's all I know. And apparently, Marty is dating Mikey's ex, but Mikey, like, claims that Marty stole his bitch when, like, I don't know. It's a very complicated thing, so I'm not really going to go into it because, I don't know, I'm kind of neutral on the whole thing. I don't really know what the fuck went down. But either way, they're beefing over a female, and Mikey is very, very passionate about this cause, you know, this female and this beef, apparently, because he walks in, and, you know, he sees me, and he's like, oh, what's good? And then he sees Marty, and the first thing he does is, like, he takes a deep-ass breath and he clenches his fist and puts his hands together, and he's just like, oh my god. He's like, why is this motherfucker here? And he starts getting up in his face, and he's yelling at him, and, you know, Marty is a kind of guy who, like, he's not really trying to beef like that. Like, he's not a pussy, but, like, he wasn't really trying to fight at this point. We were all just trying to have a good night, and I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. You know, we're all just trying to chill, smoke some weed, and get drunk. You know, that's really the entire point of the night. I don't want to fight. I don't want to deal with that shit. So, either way, you know, Mikey's getting all up in Marty's face, but, you know, he's like, all right, I'm gonna calm myself down. You know, Mikey said this. He's like, I'm gonna calm myself down. You know, I'm not gonna do this right now. And, you know, we figured just by his body language and what he was saying, you know, as it progressed, he was kind of seeming to calm down. We thought he wasn't going to swing. We thought, like, oh, you know, it's cool. They're probably just going to talk, you know, beef it out, and then he's going to leave. I don't even know if we're going to get weed from this guy at this point, but whatever. And as they're talking, out of nowhere, you know, we're still standing kind of close, you know, me, Bobby, and Ernie, because we're ready, you know, to kind of grab him off of Marty if this goes down, because we're not dealing with this right now. And we kind of let our guards down, and Mikey just, out of nowhere, just sucker punches the fuck out of him, and he hits him right. I think he used his left hand. He hit him with like a left hook, and then Marty kind of like bent down, and he started just uppercutting his face, just hitting him, and he started hitting the side of his face, you know, straight up right on the nose, and he was just pouring blood. You know, Marty was just pouring blood, and at this point, after the first like 2 punches, you know, myself, Ernie, and Bobby were already on him. You know, I had his right arm, I think Bobby had his left arm, and I think I had like one arm around his right arm trying to pull it back, and the other one I had like around his like neck. I was trying to like yank him back, and he was fighting back. You know, he was really trying to get on him, but we got him off pretty quickly. He only landed like 3 or 4 hits, but they were hard, and they were sucker punches too, so they weren't blocked or even prepared or anything. And you know, Marty's gushing blood, and Lauren is just like, what the fuck? Like, you guys can't do this shit in my house. Like, why the fuck is this happening? Like, what are you doing? And she was just telling us all to get the fuck out. She's like, clean this shit up and get the fuck out. And you know, I'm just so blown at this point. I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck just happened? And my phone just went off. But anyways, after this happened, and it happened so quickly. Like, this all went down in a little bit iffy. You know, at this point, Mikey's already out the door. Chad's already out the door. We didn't even get our weed. You know, me, Bobby, and Ernie are standing there like, what the fuck? And we're starting to clean up. You know, I go grab paper towels, and we're wiping blood off the floor. We're giving him shit to just put on his face to stop the bleeding and try to. And, you know, what we ended up doing was, we ended up having
the hell can I do?
Us all home. Lauren, after we cleaned up, was just like, yeah, get the fuck out of my house. So we took all our beer, and it didn't really sound good enough. I'm like, I fucking hate technology. But either way, you know, at this point, we cleaned up. We get back in Emily's car. Emily drives me back to my car. Now, I was pretty drunk at this point. I wasn't like super duper sauced, but I was pretty drunk, you know, and I took one of the cases of beer that I left and put it back in my car because I paid for pretty much all of them. And, you know, I ended up taking Marty with me because Marty needed to ride home, but at this point, Bobby and Ernie were also going home, so Emily was going to ride them 2 home, and I was going to take Marty home. So I felt bad for the guy. You know, I was talking to him, and I was like, so what was going on with the, you know, like, what even caused that? Like, what happened? He kind of explained it to me, and, you know, I still like Mikey. You know, I'm still homies with him. I love the guy. And, you know, I didn't really, like, take it negatively on either of them, but Mikey really tweaked. He shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. You know, it was fucked up. And, you know, I talked to both of them about it, but either way, you know, we're talking about this beef, and he's still just gushing blood. You know, it's kind of slowed down, but he was really bleeding bad. He ended up having to get stitches in his mouth. I think he fractured his jaw, like his cheekbone or something. He fractured something in his face, and it was just fucked up. You know, what we ended up doing before I drove him home was I let him smoke another blunt.
You're a whore. You're a dick-looking little whore.
Like, you gotta at least smoke a blunt after that. Like, you can't just get sucker punched a few times and go home on a night that was supposed to be so good. Like, at least hit the blunt. So we went and picked up another pack of blunts because we were out. I still had a little bit of weed left. You know, I had a little bit of left in my car, maybe like a 0.8, nothing special. But, you know, we smoked that, and I dropped them off, and that was the end of the night. You know, it really sucked. Yeah, I was really looking forward to that night, and I drove home. You know, it was, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, it sucked how that turned out. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed the story. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Time to earn your bread, grunts.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a true classic, a hoot and a holler. Today we're coming in talking about the time that my mom found my Xanax way back in high school. This was so long ago. This is yet again another story that took place so long ago that it was before I met Ashton. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you do, and a couple things I want to mention here. First and foremost, for all of you channel members out there who clicked the join button, you guys get to see this video a day early. Hey, say what
You're
up
a
in the
faggot.
comments.
You're a dick
For all you
looking
guys who
little
are
whore,
wondering
letting you know
how
you
to
deserve
see
to die
one
slowly.
video a week a day early, all you got to do is click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you're on the desktop, you'll for sure see it. People on the mobile app have, seem to be having some trouble seeing the join button, so make sure you're updated to the latest version of YouTube. By joining, it's just like a Twitch sub, right? It's $5 a month, but you get cool benefits beyond just emotes for my live streams and a different color name. You actually get one early video a week. Hey, super cool. Appreciate everybody who chooses to join. I really appreciate you guys. It's people like you who allow me to do this for a living. Thank you in advance. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, this happened, like I just said, so long ago. Like, this was literally probably coming on 5 years ago now, right? So goddamn long ago. And back in my first semester of junior year of high school, I went through a phase where I did a shitload of Xanax. Like, after I first tried it, it quickly became like all I did for a couple months until winter break rolled around, right? And I just had the shit all the time, right? There was a girl who used to sell me her bars. I think her grandma had a Xan script or some shit, and she would just steal them and sell them to me. I didn't ask a ton of questions, but they were real, nevertheless, right? They were legit. Because this was also back when, like, I don't know, as far as I remember, back in, like, 2015-ish, like, Xans were just starting to get big, and they weren't all pressed to shit. Like, most Xans you'd find, at least in my area, were kids robbing grandma's, fucking medicine cabinet, Like, there wasn't a ton of pressies going around yet, But either way, damn, that's such a long time ago. Or at least in my circle, there wasn't a bunch of pressies going on yet. But either way, so, this was way, way back. And I remember it was a weekend. It was a nice Friday. And I went to school, normal day, and at home, I had left a baggie with a couple Xans in my nightstand, right? There were some buses. I had 4 of them. They weren't anything crazy. And I had them in my nightstand, and I was saving them for that weekend, right? I was like, all right, hey, this is going to be a fun weekend, right? So I go to school. I do my thing. I do my learning. And my mom is the kind of parent where, like, if she finds something, she's not going to immediately hit me up and be like, son, what is this? You better get home right now. She plays the long game, right? So it's almost like a horror movie whenever I find out that she's on to me, right? Like, I got home that day from school, and I went inside, hopped in the shower, got ready to go out, right? Everything's fine and dandy. Mom's not even home yet, right? I'm like, cool, dude. I can get in and out with my drugs before Mom even gets home from work, right? And she left way later than me in the days on Fridays, right? So she was always there till like noon before she left for work, whereas I would be out of the house by like 8 in the morning, right? So I'm getting ready. I'm all spiffed up. I got my plans. I'm hitting up the homies, like, what are we doing tonight? Trying to figure shit out, yada, yada. The plans are all scheduled, right? I was going to go kick it with Kevin. So I pop open my nightstand. I can't find the bag. I'm kind of tweaking. I'm like, wait, no way. Like, what? Like, where'd it go? I'm trying to think, like, did I move it? What could have happened, right? So I'm tearing my room apart, dude. I'm absolutely fucking gutting my bedroom. I mean, like, I'm lifting up bed sheets even though the bed just got made. I'm looking under my keyboard and shit, even though why the fuck would it be there? I'm looking in my TV stand. I'm lifting up every item in the nightstand, dude. I'm going crazy, tearing my shit up looking.
You're a faggot little whore. You're a faggot little whore. You're a dick looking piece of crap.
It. I kept looking and looking, but I never found it. And like 30 minutes had gone by. I was searching so frantically that I was starting to break a sweat, right? So I was like, okay, well, this is fucked. And I'm kind of thinking for a minute, and it dawns on me, like, oh, I really hope that this isn't the case. But considering my bed was just made, my mom cleaned today, it seems. If my mom cleaned up today, that means she probably searched my shit. And if she searched my shit, those Xans were right on top of everything else in my nightstand, right? So I'm just kind of starting to realize, like, oh, fuck, she might have found them. But I was still holding out hope that maybe I just misplaced them like an idiot. You know, I lose stuff really easily all the time. My ADD is horrible, so I'm really good at misplacing stuff. So that's kind of what I was hoping for. Hey, hydration break. Get hydrated. Damn, ooh, just took a sip of orange juice. Oh, Hey, baby. It's a wonderful evening. So, Either way, back on topic here. Hey, hope you're all nice and hydrated now. So I'm hoping that maybe I just misplaced them, right? I'm a little bummed out because me being a broke high schooler, those Zans and like the $20 in my pocket were my weekend, right? Now my weekend was just $20, no Zans. So I was like, oh, well, this sucks, right? So, you know, of course I leave out of my house. I go over to Kevin. I link up with him. We're chilling a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. And I'm talking to Kevin about it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I was going to bring some bars over. My bad, man. But I don't know where they went, dude. You know, maybe I misplaced them. And he's like, oh, dude, they might be in your car. We should go look at your car. So I'm like, bet. We go out to my car, tear that shit up, dude. Annihilate my car. We're looking everywhere. Nowhere to be found whatsoever, dude. Like, just nothing. We're searching everywhere, we're lifting up the floor mats, dude. Once again, nothing. But I still haven't heard anything from my mom. So I'm like, well, maybe we're all good, you know? Like, maybe I really did just misplace it, and I just really got to find it pretty soon, you know? So, me and Kevin are chilling. We end up going to grab some weed. And me and Kevin go over to Cody's house, right? We're chilling. We grab some weed, and I'm explaining it to Cody. I'm like, yeah, Cody, dude, I lost my fucking Zans, man. I don't know where they went. And Cody's like, well, shit, dude, like, where have you been today? You know, let's try to figure it out. So I'm running him through my day. I'm telling him where I've been. And while I'm sitting there talking to him, my phone dings. I get a text. And I look down. I pull out my phone all casually. It's my mom. I don't have previews for text messages, right? I never have and I never will, okay? So I ain't paying attention to that shit, dude. Whatever, dude. All I care about is the name, dude. I'm looking down. Egg. That's Egg. Cool. Egg. We're ready to go. So, I'm chatting with them a little more. I bust out my phone. You know, I finally read the message. Literally an essay, dude. It was so long, and I did not read the whole thing. I did not read the whole thing, because as soon as I saw how long it was, I already knew exactly what had happened. She'd found the Xanax. My worst fears were coming true then and there. So I'm looking down, and I just remember just getting this feeling in my body, like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And in her message, one of the things she says is, do not come home tonight. Oh, fuck. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, shit, dude. Like, I don't think I can crash at Kevin's house. I don't even want to spend the night out, you know? Like, I didn't even want to spend... I had $20, dude. I didn't even want to spend the night out. So, I'm trying to figure out what to do at this point, but I didn't want to break the news to the homies yet, kill the vibe. I was like, well, maybe something really fun could come up that would just take my mind off it and fuck the rest of the night. You know what I'm saying? Who cares, dude? We're lit. So I'm kind of trying to find moves. I'm kind of like, lads, we should do something tonight. We're all looking around for stuff to do, smoking some gas, taking turns playing some PlayStation in Cody's garage. And of course, we don't find any plans, right? Which was kind of surprising. It was a Friday night in high school, but everyone was just doing the same thing as us. And we were like, well, there's no reason to just migrate and have more heads on Roto, dude. Fuck it. Let's just burn some here, you know? So we chilled out at Cody's for quite a while, and it gets pretty late. And Kyle has to go home. Or Kevin, pardon me. So I'm like, well, alright, Kevin, I'll drive you home, right? And I say to Cody, I'm like, Cody, can I come back? And he's like, yeah, dude, no problem. Come on back, dude. So I go. I drop Kevin off. Right at that moment, I'm like, hey, peace out, Kevin. I'll see you later, bro. Thanks for linking with me. And he's like, yeah, dude, let me know if you find those bars. And it dawns on me once again that, like, I still hadn't told him. So I'm like, oh, yeah, my mom found them. And he kind of, like, does this, like, double take. He's like, what, dude? I'm like, yeah, dude, my mom's got the Xannies. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, God damn, dude. Like, will she even let me come home tomorrow? Because the thing is, whenever my mom would find my drugs, it was always a scary sight. And I was always kicked out for at least a night, right? Minimum, I was out of that fucking house that night, right? So, like, I was sitting there like, damn, dude, another night sleeping in the Honda. Let's fucking go, baby. So I drop off Kevin. I go back to Cody's house, right? And luckily, Cody lets me crash there, right? So we're chilling out. We're smoking a lot more. And eventually, Cody's older brother comes around with some drinks, right? He comes in the garage. He got some liquor. Good old beers, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you guys are going to judge me for the beers, but listen. They did not mind a little PBR over there, okay? And I don't listen. This was back in high school, all right. I think back then nobody minded a little PBR. Okay, now I will never put PBR to my lips, but back then I don't think anyone minded, right? So we're slamming, we're crunching these PBRs at like midnight, 1 in the morning, just getting started. And I'm just trying to get as drunk as fucking possible to forget about the wrath of my mother, dude. The absolute fury coming inbound for my neck, right? So I'm sitting there crunching these fucking PBRs as fast as I can. We're playing fucking like drinking games and shit, dude. We're having a blast, just smoking blunts, getting drunk, playing PlayStation, having a good old time. The classic Cody's Garage kind of evening, right? Where it's literally just smoking fire weed, Cody's brother busting serves, and us getting drunk, right? So we're getting nice and fucked up. Me and Cody end up playing each other in UFC, right? We're doing some drinking games. We're like, dude, hey, whoever loses, dude, you gotta slam that shit, right? So we're playing, dude. And we're getting fucked up, right? Hey, sent to Jupiter, Mars, dude. Not even the Andromeda Galaxy, dude. A different universe, Andromeda universe, a whole different system, dude. A different plane of being, dude. Different dimension, dude. We're gone, right? We're getting fucked up, and obviously, the drunker we get, the worse we're fighting. So it just gets more entertaining the longer we go. And the night kind of becomes a blur pretty quickly. Like, UFC is really honestly the last thing I remember. But I'd imagine I just passed out face down on the couch in his garage. Probably, right? I'd imagine that's exactly what I did, right? But I do remember the next day waking up, and it was already late as fuck in the afternoon when I got up. It was like 2 in the morning. No messages from my mom or anything. You know, I remember the first thing I did, I checked my phone, seeing like, oh, did my mom say any more shit? No, dude. So I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of in, like, purgatory in my head. I'm like, dude, do I go home and literally enter, like, a boss battle, pretty much? Or do I stay out and just continue to get fucked up until I forget about it? But at the same time, like, my $20 was gone. I spent it on weed, you know? So there was really not much more fun to be had in my budget, which was $0. So I ended up going home. And I go home, and once again, my mom just loves the passive-aggressive long game, right? She will sit there. I'll walk in the house, and she'll be sitting there watching TV, and I'll walk in and say hello. She'll be sitting there, arms folded, tapping her foot,
lay down,
watching the fucking TV.
I play Call of Duty.
Won't glance over at me until I have a seat. You know, if I won't sit down, she'll look at me and be like, "Why don't you have a seat?" And then she'll just fucking annihilate me. She'll just grill me. She'll say, "All right, you're not going outside for 10 years. There's alarms on the doors and windows now. Fuck yourself." I searched everything. Like, dude, these were tense moments, right? So, you know, I go back home. I go in the house, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's literally, she's watching her fucking TV show, tapping her fucking foot, arms crossed in her little recliner, right? And I sit on the couch across from her, and she's mad as fuck, dude. She's so pissed at me, dude. And she's just going in on me. She's like, "You really think you can bring this fucking bullshit into my house?" All that stuff, and I'm like, "No, Mom." You know, like I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, "Well, hey, we're fucked today, lads." Oh, God, I just burped right there. Ooh. 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 Did you guys hear that one? Ooh. Gee, hey, either way. I'm like, "No, Mom, I didn't think I could bring Zanies in the crib." She's like, "You really think you could," you know, like, you know, it's just a rampage, bro. And then after she's done, it's one of two things. She's either so angry that she leaves the house, or she'll go in her room and slam the hell out of the door, right? That's how it used to be, at least. Now, when I bring hard drugs in, when it was weed, she wouldn't get that mad sometimes. But if it was pills or stuff like that, oh, dude, a door's getting slammed, whether it's the front door or her bedroom one, dude. She's either going in her room pissed or she's leaving pissed, dude. There's no in between. So, like, hey, you best hope she ain't coming back for a minute when she leaves pissed, because that was always worse than her going in the room pissed, dude. Because when she left pissed, that meant that she would go out and get more angry about it, driving around thinking about it, and then she'd come back and yell, dude. She'd come in the door yelling, dude. It was fucked. So, luckily, she's not like that. She's not like that anymore. We have a good relationship now. But, oh my, high school was a fucking nightmare, dude. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Luckily, I never really got grounded or anything. And, I mean, she, you know, didn't really take my car. Couldn't really do it. So, I mean, all that really happened was just the stern lectures and the yelling at the door slam. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. And also, if you guys are looking for a way to support the channel, once again, I highly recommend clicking the join button to get some fire benefits for doing it. Hey, appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
We are going to move into our first session, which we're focusing on the endocannabinoid system, and I'm delighted to turn the podium over to Dr. David Shurtleff, who will be one of the co-moderators along with
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a Hoot and a Holler, a true banger, if you will. This story is about the time way back in high school that I got caught, well, almost caught, I'd say somewhat caught, doing Xanax in class. Listen, it was fucked up, I passed out, it got very ugly very quickly. Hope you guys enjoy this video, drop a like if you do, and also, I just got my sub button on Twitch today, baby. Hey. Link will be at the top of the description. Smack that follow button. If you guys have Twitch Prime, hey, smack that sub button. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, I love you guys. Let's get it cracking, dude. Twitch is busting, dude. We're also going to be live on YouTube later tonight. Be ready for that. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, this happened way, way, way back in high school. I'm talking junior year of high school. Listen, that was a very long time ago. And during this phase of my life, specifically the first semester of junior year, I was a bar fiend. And for those of you guys who have been around this channel for a while, you might remember I actually made a video that was fairly similar to this. Not entirely, but I have made a video that involved Xanax and involved this class. But it wasn't like anywhere near this. This video, this is fucked. So, this happened way back in my first semester junior year of high school, which at this point was like 4 or 5 years ago now. I think that's 4 years ago. No, that might even be 5 now, actually. Yeah, that was like 4.5, 5. Jesus Christ. Either way, too long ago. And way back then, I was going through a pretty heavy Xan phase, right? I was at the point where I was taking bars pretty much every day in first period, and then just making it through to lunch and then taking them again at lunch. And this class, I had an AP government class. This class happened to be right after lunch. And for those of you guys who are no good delinquents, you know that lunchtime is intoxication time, right? You know that when you go to school, lunchtime is when you know, it's round 2, dude. You wake and bake, you do whatever you got to do before you get to school, then you suffer, and once you get to lunch, you do it all over again, dude. That's exactly what everyone does. So, me being me, of course, I'm going through my day, and I'd popped a bar already in first period, right? Like, that was already fine and dandy taken care of, you know? So, I was coming down pretty hard, and I was fiending. And I had quite a few more to spare, dude. I had, like... listen, I don't know why I brought them to school, because I didn't even sell them, but I was a fiend, and I had, like, 10 bars on me this day, dude. It was fucked, dude. Just the little white ladders, right? So, I'm sitting at lunch, you know, and I'm trying to decide. I'm sitting with the homies, I'm like, should I pop these, you know? And Kevin's sitting next to me, right? Kevin sat at the lunch table, so I look over to Kevin, I'm like, Kevin, bro, what should I do with these, dude? Like, should I pop them both? I'm kind of fiending, dude. And him, of course, he's like, nah, dude, you should actually wait till we snort some Adderall before gym, because we had gym class together, too, and Kevin really liked to get geeked on Addies and go lift, right? I would just snort the Addy to snort the Addy. I'm not athletic, but he would snort the shit to go work out, right? So before gym, we'd always rail some of my prescription Adderalls, right? It was a fun time. And he's like, nah, dude, you shouldn't take them, man. You should just get ready for us to snort some Adderall period after, right? God, looking back at this, wow, I was such a... we were having this conversation casually at lunch at the age of like 16. Damn. Okay.
Snorting Adderall.
Good God, dude. Fuck. Either way. So, you know, me taking Kevin's opinion into account, you know, I'm kind of thinking about it a little bit. And I didn't really think that I had anything important ahead of me that day, right? I was like, okay, I think my day's pretty chill, because after my lunch period, I went to government, then I went to gym, and then I went to a science class. I think it was like, oh god, I don't remember what it was, like a earth science or some shit, some weird fucking class, dude. I don't know. It was kind of cool. Like, the volcano stuff was cool, but that's about it. So either way, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, well, I don't really have anything ahead of me for the day, and I'm prescribed Adderall, so I can do that at any time, right? So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna pop the Xanax, and I tell Kevin, I'm like, hey, thanks for the input, dude, but I'm totally not listening to you, dude. I'm taking the Xanax. So he starts laughing. He's like, all right, whatever, dude. So I go over to the bathroom, right? I run in the bathroom. I got a little bottle of water with me. I just pop both of them. I figured, you know, I took one this morning. I'm pretty much completely down off it at this point. Don't really feel it. So I'm just going to take 2, right? That's fine and dandy. Now, so for those of you guys who may have been watching this channel for a while, you might also remember that when I was doing Xanax at school, I had like a pretty bad track record of like passing out in class off them. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure I've made a video about almost all the incidents of this happening. I know for a fact I have a video on at least 3 of the different incidents of this happening. Right? And there's quite a few more, this being one of them. So, I did not always have the best track record with that, right? But I popped these ants in the middle of lunch, and I'm chilling. And our lunch was pretty long, right? Because on top of it just being a long-ass lunch, I also would never go to the next class on time. Like, I'd always linger in the hall for 5 to 10 minutes. Because my AP Gov teacher was kind of cool about it. And realized that, hey, this kid's a crackhead and doesn't really care. And honestly, I don't really remember how I even got into the AP class, dude. It was the smart kid class. All the other people in here actually did their homework. They all had like immaculate-looking textbooks and notebooks. They took notes the whole period, and I was like the one kid in that whole class who was not on that shit at all. Like I had friends in that class. Don't get me wrong. Like, some of the kids were never friends with me, but also a lot of those kids fucking hated me because I would just show up drooling on myself every day, bro. And they just did not like me very much in that class. So either way, of course, I come barging in like 10 minutes late, and this class was, listen, this was one of the most boring classes ever. Not because of the teacher. The teacher was a nice lady, but my fucking god, dude, I don't care about what George Washington did with his dick, dude. I don't care about what Thomas Jefferson signed or who he signed it for. I don't even care if his wife had a nice rack. I don't give a shit, bro. It means nothing to me, right? It never has and it never will. So I would sit down in this class, and 90% of the time, unless it was about like ancient like war generals, I liked hearing about like those crazy Mao Zedong motherfuckers, you know, like Genghis Khan, dude. Those just wild sons of bitches, you know. Like I like hearing about those kind of guys, you know. But how much longer? I didn't like hearing about all the boring like old American dudes, you know, like fuck those guys. But either way, so I'm sitting in class. And maybe like 5 minutes into the, you know, me already being 10 minutes late for class,
good night.
It smacked me pretty much immediately, dude. Like,
live for so long. I was real quickly
I was sitting there and I was pretty much completely rock sober, and I luckily at this point we were later in the semester, so I got to move to a different spot, and I had a way nicer spot. For those of you guys who remember the story, I had a classmate in this class who I was sitting next to who I accidentally sent a picture of my penis to. It was bad. Luckily, we got moved. So this was when we were good to go on that. No concern there. Oh man, god damn. The more I tell this story, the more I remember like how fucked up this class was actually. So either way, I'm sitting in the back corner, right? And I'm chilling out, la-di-da-di-da, and the Xans fucking hit